死んでまでてめえと一緒なのは納得いかねえけどちょうどいいや。高さ100万%見下げてくれてどうもデカブツ海賊王に俺はなる。
What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast, where we cover One Piece, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Mashle, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen week to week. Back this week, covering Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 52 inside of the finale of the second season of the Project Manga Podcast. I'm your host for tonight, Noxie.
And Nickums.
And as you guys can see, we are 2 men short. Kiko is still wrapped up with like some family things for the holidays, and Eagle has reached out in various areas on social media to let our audience know what is going on with him, but this is not a permanent situation. Just wanted to throw that out there for you guys, but we have 2 great guests that we wanted to fill the conversation with tonight, and they've been on our show before. You might remember them from earlier conversations. We have Doncho from Doncho's Hideout, and we got Shonen Snooty from the YouTube channel with the same name. How are you guys doing tonight, you guys?
Good, man.
Yes, yes.
Still alive.
Had to call in some reinforcements because we wanted to go out with a bang tonight. But
I'm gonna stand by.
Yeah,
The
so
rest of the Avengers had to assemble.
right.
Only people with hair could make it on tonight, you know.
These are the West Coast Avengers. But yeah, so Doncho, you guys might remember Doncho. He was actually the very first Weekly Shonen Jump review guest that we ever had on this series. And Shonen Snooty was here a couple times, actually, mostly in the tie-in series that we do. But he's also, both of these gentlemen have collaborated with us inside of AnitubeCon last summer, and will eventually be collaborating with us again for the winter AnitubeCon coming up. But Doncho, for those who are not familiar, why don't you go ahead and let our audience know who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
All right. Well, as my great friend Knox introduced me, my name is Doncho, and you guys can find me on Twitter at General Maharaga. Yes, that's like the summoning from Megumi at General Maharaga. That is my Twitter. And my YouTube is Doncho's Hideout at the moment. Something I do, small here and there. Currently at the moment, I'm actually got my own stuff going on. So I'm not at home with my equipment, but I still record from time to time, do my thing, get stuff out there. So if you guys want to find me there, please hit me up, shout out, always down to talk.
Yes, absolutely. And Snooty, you were just on
me.
Yeah, you were just on our one shot that we did for Undead Unluck recommendation, which was an incredible conversation that you guys should all check out. Also, like I said, you've been here for the tie-in episodes, but you've never been on our weekly Shonen Jump review show.
I have not.
For that area of our audience that only watches those episodes of ours, why don't you go ahead and tell our weekly Shonen Jump audience who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
All right, y'all know who it is. It's your boy Shonen Snooty with the big booty, your all-purpose anime sensei on YouTube. You could find me on YouTube at Snooty, and you could find me on Twitter at Shonen Snooty. I cover Jujutsu Kaisen, Untitled Unluck coming soon, Bleach, and M.A.N.G.A all on my channel. I'll have some more videos up, but as for right now, 2020 has just been a complete shit show. So
yeah, except for manga.
Except for manga.
Literally.
Yes.
Literally, yeah.
The
absolutely.
only good part about this year.
Yeah, for real, for real. Hell yeah, you guys. Well, this is our group tonight. I think that we're gonna have an incredible conversation. This week in Jump was crazy.
Amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that for those of you out there that are interested in checking out what Doncho and Snooty have on their channels, I'll go ahead and throw those links down in the description for you. While you're down there, you'll see our personal link tree. That's where you're going to see all of our individual social media accounts, as well as other online communities associated with Project Manga, including our Discord, ways to listen to the Project Manga podcast on audio only platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, and ways to support the Project Manga podcast, including our Patreon, which is going to give you a bunch of perks ranging from early access all the way up to additional manga reviews. But getting into the conversation tonight, oh yeah, by the way, I upgraded like a lot of my equipment and like lost some files in between transfer. Or in between upgrade or during the upgrade process. So our old face cams that we had are lost in the void. So what you guys are seeing right now is a sneak preview of the new face cams for season 3. So me and Nick are wearing those right now. If you guys are watching on YouTube, this is a sneak It's a sneak peek at what season 3's aesthetic is going to look like. So enjoy. But
Yes.
but let's get into this,
Okay,
boys.
I've been
Okay,
waiting.
season finale, the last week of Weekly Shonen Jump, issue number 52. First and foremost, how do you guys feel about this spectacular week in Jump?
Gas. Oh my
So
god,
good.
gas.
All gas, no
every
grace.
last bit of
I
it.
loved it all. I loved
Mhm.
it all.
Like I like every last bit of it. Like Mashle, Chainsaw Man, Black Clover, even like I feel like I say like a whole lot on Twitter or
Yeah.
social media in general about Black Clover.
Yeah.
But it actually like did a really good job. Like Nox amazing.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
I'm
Yep.
very happy with everything all across the board. Like we've been saying for a while, it feels like these chapters have all been obviously in very climactic stages of their respective stories, but specifically inside of this like fiscal year of Weekly Shonen Jump, it seems like everything is moving or has been moving towards like a very big crescendo, I guess is the word I want to use, into this like finale of the year inside of issue number 52. So very, very pleased with this week. But let's get into the very first chapter tonight. We're looking at Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 131, the Shibuya incident, part 48, and holy shit, Gege Akutami with this
Oh my
double color
God,
spread.
this color page.
Is this the official
My
color then for the new form for Mahito, like purple or whatever? Like,
Oh no, but
Maybe.
hey,
That'd be cool. That'd be
that
cool.
would be amazing.
That would be pretty
if we
gas.
saw-
Like I would love that.
Yes, if we saw similar colors for this in the anime eventually, that would be ridiculous.
It would be
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
Like I was expecting Mahito to stay like the same color, like that same like skin tone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like if he's purple with all of these new enhancements, I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah.
Super on board. Super on board. And I just love Gege's like just color palette in general inside of these color spreads. I feel like you can't really pinpoint exactly like what colors you'll see from Gege ever. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you can,
Right.
based on the history of color that we've seen from them inside of their volume covers and inside of their color pages and whatnot, you kind of like want to say like you can guess their palette, but then they drop these like vibrant colors on you here inside of this like super bright pink and purple, and you're like,
Right.
oh,
Never mind.
all right, it's not it's not as predictable in the palette as I thought, because I thought that I'd be seeing like like dull greens and like oranges
Yeah,
like all over
exactly.
the place every time, you know what I mean? But
Oh no, like bright white and a cherry red. Okay.
yeah, we're seeing some diversity here. But getting into the chapter, man, holy shit. So what do you
Oh my
guys
god.
how do you guys the choreography in this? So
Yes.
like,
Beautiful.
So we know that Gege's bag is choreography, or one of their biggest bags is choreography. That's what we've been screaming about
Yeah.
this entire series. And
Right.
and Yuji's Choso fight obviously was probably one of the best fights, if not the best fight so far in the series, not just
Oh,
this
yeah.
arc. But like this one I feel like is trying to contend with it, and it's not just because the scale of Mahito is so much bigger now, and he's such a bigger threat. Like
It's literally everything.
yeah, Gege didn't want to take, the I'm a big monster approach. Here's I'm just gonna spam a bunch of AoEs and hope you can dodge them until you punch me in the face and win the fight. You know what I
Right,
mean? It's
right.
not like that.
Right.
It's a very, like I was saying last week, it's a very localized, very grounded final form.
Yeah.
For quote unquote for Mahito right now, they didn't want to take the Berserk Apostle approach. You know what I'm saying? Or
Right.
He's
the
not
Frieza,
getting like a
you know what I mean?
super kaiju form that's
Yeah.
gonna blow
Yeah.
everything up. It's just like localized, condensed. He can manipulate his like jutsu shiki like way better
Yes.
from what I can
Right.
tell.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful.
Yeah. I just love that decision made from Gege there to keep Mahito's form slender, so that we can keep having these amazing hand-to-hand moments that
Exactly.
Gege excels in. Yeah.
Right.
And I think it just goes back to in the video I dropped today on my YouTube. It's something I was talking about where I was hoping that Gege was going to start going in the direction of showing us just how much battle prowess that Yuji has learned, and that using Black Flash whenever he wants to will start being like his bag. Like
Yes.
that
Yeah.
will just start being his tap in. Like
Yeah.
he'll be that first sorcerer to go, okay, I want to hit you with one of these bitches, so here we go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes. And we
and
have some
seeing
foreshadowing for that, I feel like, inside
Right. I
of
think
like
so.
the
Yeah,
Exchange
with, like,
Festival when he hits Hanami like 9 times in a row with a Black Flash, and they were like, you are
And I mean,
not supposed to be able to do that.
And this fight right here, I think, is just another example of like that happening. Like it
Mhm.
showed Gege getting us prepared for, okay, he's about to just start dishing these bitches out.
Yep.
Like getting us
Yep.
prepared for that mentality. And I think it's cool that Gege Akutami is using Black Flash, and this is just me being me. I know who I am already, but I swear Black Flash is a Jinjonkin tribute. Like, I'm sorry, it is.
In this chapter especially. In this chapter especially.
With the charge
it's
up,
such a Jinjonkin tribute, and it's so beautiful seeing, because I didn't think of that at all when I first seen Black Flash in the slightest, and then seeing it now how it's being used in Shibuya by Yuji is just fucking phenomenal. Like, it's just really cool seeing that homage, and that we all make those jokes about Gon, like, what are you going to do standing there holding that punch? But now we see Yuji doing whole dodges and parries, holding his hand in that position,
right? Shoulder rolling, fucking punches off while he's charging it.
Right. And it's so cool to see him get ready to do that and like hit that flash off. And I think I also was talking about how if we really pay close attention to this Mahito fight from literally when he ran into him when he killed Nanami, he's getting better at fighting. Like, he's literally getting better at catching up and keeping up with the strategic nature of what's going on in the fights. And I think that's something that Akutami is doing that's really unique, is us literally watching a character fight someone who was kind of really better than them. And still, you know, keep up with it. This reminds me of Gon and Genthru. Well, Gon was like, okay, this is my L, but like, you're not about to just beat my ass. Like, you know, like,
I got something for you before I lose. Trust me.
And as you're watching Gon fight, you're kind of seeing Gon get better, and you're also seeing the fruits of his training all in one moment. And I think that's exactly what's going on with Yuji right now. We're seeing the fruits of his training. We're seeing him learn from losing from Choso. We're seeing him learn in the midst of Mahito doing all these attacks and tricking him, and seeing what's my girl Kugisaki getting hit, and seeing Todo getting hit, and like now he's not on some, oh my God, what's going on? He looked at Todo last chapter and said, thank you. And then moved on forward to the next thing. And this chapter, he's like, bro, I'm just ready to beat your ass. Like,
and like you were saying, bro, like inside of Yuji showing the fruits of his training, I feel like this is a combination of the fruits of his training, but also we're seeing like the fruits of his development coming out of the conflict of like you were saying, that out of his conflicts with Choso and just like this arc in general, we're seeing a Yuji that is very like no nonsense, very like understanding of like what he is supposed to do in this fight, despite the traumas that he's experienced throughout this. Obviously, we have the dialogue inside of the Choso fight where he's very scared after his liver is punctured, and he goes, that's a fatal wound. I'm probably going to die. That's pretty scary. Nope, take that anxiety, take that fear, turn it into cursed energy. So we have that coming out of an overwhelming opponent inside of a 1v1 from Yuji earlier in the arc. Then his next fight starts off with him seeing a mentor and close, comrade of his evaporated in front of his eyes. Then his very close peer, and student, like friend inside of Nobara getting her face blown up. You know what I mean? Like, these are all things that obviously are taking a toll on Yuji, but just the fruits of his training coming from his conversation in the exchange festival with Todo that says, yo, don't let your emotions get the better of you or else you won't be an efficient fighter. So we have a flashback homage there to that. Obviously, Nanami has said similar things to him. Like all of the things that he's ever experienced in any conflict he's had throughout the series, we're seeing progression on behalf of Yuji in regard to what he does with those negative emotions and how he turns it into power. And just seeing him in this fight with this low lid, confident expression. Usually Yuji's eyes are always wide open, like he's always learning something, regardless of where he is. But right here, and he probably is learning things in this fight. Yeah, right. He is probably learning things from this fight, but he doesn't have that naive expression that holy shit, the world is so big. You know what I mean? Look on his face. He has this, I know exactly what the fuck I'm here to do. Let's get this shit done and go home kind of look on him throughout this fight.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
It's almost as if Mahito talked some sense into him when he was like just kicking his ass around. Like,
no, he definitely was.
Was it B5 or B5? Yeah. And like like you really can see the change in Yuji's expression from when he started out in Shibuya and where he's at now. And I also don't think that you see a lot of, like, I want to say evolution and development for villains within like the shonen genre that we've been getting for Mahito over the past year or since his inception. Like, aside from, I want to say Shigaraki right now, just off the top of my head, because they're growing so crazily fast, is actually terrifying.
And that's because Gege and Horikoshi both decided that they wanted to have a primary, main series villain that was tied developmentally to the main cast. You know what I mean? So like it's not just introducing a villain, you know what I mean, that is going to be a big deal later on in the series. It's like this was always meant to be a side-by-side comparison and juxtaposition of these two characters. You know what I mean? So it's like when you have that kind of plan for your story, the villainous atmosphere is always going to feel better than stories that don't approach it this way. You know what I mean?
And it's hence why Mahito said that killing you is going to complete it, buddy. Taking you out is going to take me there. Taking you out is going to take me to the completion of my soul, because you the opposite of me. You know, you are my other. You are my opposite side of the coin. You know, you're that other for me. And I think for Yuji too, that is very apparent from Mahito, where he has to understand. Because like Mahito said to him, if you don't understand that I'm here to just fuck shit up, how do you expect to beat me? Like he's explaining to him, like, I don't think you really get it, Yuji. This is what I'm here for. You keep asking me for reasoning. You keep asking me why, motherfucker, because I'm here, bitch. Like,
it ain't gonna make sense to you even if I explained it to you. It makes sense to me. And that's all I care about. You know what I mean? I don't care if you get it. I'm not trying to sway you to my side. I actually just want you dead. This is not. That's it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Not even for any special reason. Just out of spite. I just don't like you.
And that's who he is. You know, he believes that's who. And I think, and I was talking about it with some people earlier today. I said, I think that's what makes it so deep when Mahito said to Nanami, you know, we can talk right before you go, since you was always there for me. You was always there to talk for me. Yeah. And people thought that was like Mahito being an asshole, but like, no, he meant that shit.
Yeah.
You know, like he meant that. Like he genuinely sees, which is why that new form of his kind of looks like, you know, Hanami and Nanami, to a mix of, because he's literally embodying the people and the things around him that shaped who he is, that shaped what Mahito is as a creature, you know? And that's why he looks so humanoid, yet looks so much like a Dagon mixed with a Jogo, mixed with a, you know, like it's a cool mixture of things going on for who he is. And Akutami killed that. Like,
and that's just another representation of like how, or another example of how Mahito represents humanity inside of his character. Because how many times has everyone always said, I regret these things in my life, but like I'm thankful for them because they made me who I am today. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that Mahito regrets Dagon and all of them, but like just like who you surround yourself with shapes who you are, regardless of how unique you are. Everyone's different in their own way, but you spend so much time with certain people and they leave an imprint on you in a way that is unchangeable. You know what I mean? And Mahito taking a form that respects his closest, you know, constituents or acquaintances, or I don't even know what he considers them. Obviously, he cares a lot more about them than we originally thought, since his design is based on their influence. But it's like, it's just so cool to see that Gege thinks about all of these things. You know what I'm saying? Like Jogo is a fire curse, he's a hothead. Hanami is a nature curse, he's chill. You know what I'm saying? Like Dagon is, you know, a roaring, you know, water and sea and ocean curse. His mood changes with like tides. You know what I mean? It's all of these things that Gege wants to make sure you can never say this character doesn't make sense, they're acting out of character, this aspect of their character doesn't make sense based on their concept. Like you never are confused about like who these characters are. You know what I mean? And Gege makes a point to just make their whole character and the reason why they were created as like vivid as possible to the audience, I feel like.
And Mahito being that human curse, he's literally and that's what humans are. You know, you don't know what a person is going to do. Like, you really don't know, depending on the situation that they're in. And I think it's really interesting you brought that up. And especially last week, which ties perfectly into today, when he says happy birthday again, you know, you should tell me happy birthday. That, you guys brought up was Toto's necklace. And I thought you guys were going to catch what I was thinking.
What is it?
But when Mahito seen the necklace fall, Noxie, when you literally sat there and said just now that it's people, you know, are a reflection of the people around them, no matter how unique they are, I think that was Mahito realizing it when he seen the necklace fall. Like when he watched that necklace open up and he seen the picture of Yuji and he seen the picture of the girl and realizing that's what Toto had around his necklace. I think there was a conclusion he came to. Right. And I think that's what like made him go, okay, even this guy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
has these things that he's connected to. And I think while he's learning, like I didn't think that Mahito learned how to do a 0.2 domain from getting hit by Gojo. So
Yeah.
when you just threw that, when Akutami just throws that on you, now I have to wonder how much are you really absorbing in every confrontation that you're in, and the fact that you even noticed that necklace falling. What are you really paying attention to? You know,
Right.
it's very interesting to look at Mahito's character like that, and he's also stating, like you said, he's stating feats within how to fight with Joryoku, which you're like, wait a minute, I didn't even think like that. Like him saying getting hit with a black flash after doing a domain does more damage to me than I thought. I didn't even think about that. You know, like how much damage you're gonna take after opening up a domain. Oh, you're weakened. Duh.
You
know,
like, makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense,
bro. Going
like, wow, okay, dude, this guy's a genius. He really is a genius. It's
going
really
back to what you were saying about Dancho, about Mahito and the necklace scene, because last week I noticed that Mahito, I don't think any of us talked about that moment, and I noticed that when I read it, but like, and I know that was a significant moment, but I couldn't think of like why he looked at the necklace the way he did and why he had that reaction panel. So I didn't say anything in the review, but the way that you just explained it right now makes so much sense that he would look at it and go, this person is able to realize their full potential because they know what they're fighting for. They accept the fact that other people besides themselves play a major role in who they are. So you're able to fully realize your maximum potential because you are fully confident with who you are, what you desire, what means the most to you in your life. Obviously, these two people are a big driving force for your motivations. So therefore, because you are able to realize that and own that and acknowledge that, you can reach your true potential because there's no uncertainty in your motives. I think that when Mahito looks at that locket and he puts that together, like you said, Dancho, it allows him not just to reach this final form. I mean, it all culminates into that moment, but like it's like a combination of that as far as why he's able to do the 0.2 domain expansion. I very much agree with you after what you said, that he didn't just do the 0.2 domain expansion after seeing Gojo do it. I think it was a combination of that plus what he realized about Todo in that moment with the locket scene, and knowing that the people who you love and surround yourself with who mean something to you have something to do with your maximum potential as a sorcerer, considering how significant of a role they play in your emotions, right?
Exactly.
And you think about the people that you love and the people that mean something to you, whether those are negative or positive emotions, whatever you're feeling about them, you turn that spike in emotional potency into power. You know what I mean? And I think that Mahito realized that in that moment. You explained that so well, and it makes so much more sense to me now.
Makes me wonder, could this even be a tie into kind of the shonen genre as a whole, as well as Yuji's grandfather's speech before he died, right? Like surround yourself with people, right? So like going with that, and also like shonen protagonists, obviously a big part of their character is always making friends, making connections, bringing people over their side, empathizing with enemies and that kind of thing. That's just going to build Yuji's power over the course of his over the course of the story.
Right. I see that. And a question I would like to pose to you guys, considering that Mahito was saying to Yuji, once I kill you, I'll reach my final, like my true form, my soul. I think that if right here Yuji does kill Mahito, I think Mahito will be a conscious figure throughout the rest of his existence in Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, I think that literally right here, I wonder, do you guys think that if Yuji kills him here, where even if Mahito's technically dead, we're going to see Mahito psychologically and philosophically affect Yuji throughout the rest of the series, even after that?
Absolutely. I feel like Mahito is a character that I can justifiably see being somewhere around an end of series villain. So if he's taken out here, I definitely think that M.A.N.G.A has plenty of options available as far as compelling antagonists moving forward, as far as new characters that'll be introduced, breadcrumbs that have been laid as far as like future conflicts of the series. I don't think Mahito is all that necessary to keep that level of tension and that villainous presence alive inside of Jujutsu Kaisen. So I can totally see him dying here. But if he does, absolutely, Dancho, I can definitely see him lingering around in some form throughout the remainder of the series because of how significant of a role he's played in this first 131 chapters.
I think another big thing for me is that, like, Mahito, when he's if he does die here, right? I don't think he's going to die here, but if he does die here, unless it's very, very, very clear, we've talked about this in the past, that now that Mahito can like transform into other people and like have these like clones of people that are like just fake shells of people that Mahito could be hiding in there, right?
Yeah.
Like Yuji might always be on guard forever, even if he does defeat Mahito.
See, that's what I was thinking.
Whenever
right?
he sees another person, he's gonna be like, "Is this a transfigured human?" Just like in the back of his head, like trauma, PTSD type shit.
Even if that's not how it goes, right? And Yuji grows and gets over this, potential PTSD and isn't suspicious of people forever. I think he's going to definitely change his opinion about battles generally, right? Like say when as Mahito said in one of his monologues in the past few chapters, like, you came to Shibuya thinking you're just going to come in here and clean up. You're just going to go exercise some curses and it's going to be a grand old time and you're just going to be the hero, right? Like, wrong. Like, this is brutal shit. You got to get your head in the game. And I think Yuji, at the very least, is going to completely re-examine how he approaches coming into a battlefield like this, right? Like, he's not going to be like, hooray, it's fun times. He's going to be really intense and really serious and really,
this is the first time that he's experienced on the curse side of things characters with motivations that are just as strong and conviction, like they have just as much conviction and just as much purpose in what they're doing as he does. You know what I mean? So when Mahito says that to him, like, you thought you were just going to come in here and exercise some curses and go home, as if all curses are just brainless things that don't have any motivations other than kill the thing next to him. You know what I mean? Like, no, like we are just as sentient as you. We desire things just as strongly as you. How are you going to defeat me when you don't understand that I have just as much stake in this game as you do? I'm not just something waiting to be exercised. I have a life I want to live that doesn't really rely on you after you're dead. You know what I mean?
That brings up a crazy point I want to bring up. This is from page 13, right? So this is after he just like, he hits Mahito really hard. He's like, oh damn, like he's like rock solid, right? Like he's way tougher than I thought he was going to be.
Flashes back to Choso's fucking, his blood guard on his ribs. Yeah.
Now Yuji says, he's become, like, as a cursed spirit, he has become something completely different than before his transformation, which I think is super huge because before his transformation, he's a special grade.
Yeah.
What do you mean he's completely different? Like, and I feel like someone in the anime, like, and of course probably in the manga, right? Wasn't Gojo saying like, we're gonna need like another category, right? Like,
did say that.
You're just throwing these unknowns. You're just throwing these unknowns into special grade, but like, there's tiers of special grade, obviously.
And going into that sequence, from 10 to 11, and then from 12 to 13, and then from Wait, am I? That's what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Oh wait, from 8 to 9. So the double spreads that we've been getting here, back to back to back. We have 4 double page spreads back to back to back. I think actually, or wait, actually maybe 8 and 9 are singles, but then I'm pretty sure, or maybe
it's 14, 15 is the spread. 14, 15, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay. Because I'm looking on
good.
Viz and everything is just 2 pages at all times. But 14 and 15 is definitely the double spread. But going back to 8 and 9, I want to talk about like the paneling here, which obviously is top tier. But I love the way that the kana comes down on like the za, you know what I mean? As he loads up after he blocks the whip with the knee. The tail, he blocks the tail whip with the knee, and then he's coming with like the back fist, and the back fist is charging, and you get that, the kana, over the paneling, you know what I mean? That really drives that. That, like, I could just see that in the anime as like no music, just like sound effects, like you know what I mean? Like I can totally see this animated.
It's like following Yuji's hand.
It's following
as he's like Aikido, judo, like I guess this is like this taiji martial arts, Taito martial arts, but he's like directing away the energy of the punch, right? Beautiful.
And dude, people were fucking complaining on Twitter a little bit earlier today about Gege's like choreography and like how, and the art style inside of the fights, and
shaking my head,
and how like
scratches.
And it's just like, man, it's just like, how can you not like just take one look at this and understand why it's drawn this way? You know what I mean? Like,
right?
To think that this is like mediocre illustration just because of the arts. It's like no one complained about Q Hayashida's art in Doro Hidoro. You know what I mean? Like nobody, like when you can tell that this is obviously done on purpose, like look at any other area of Gege's art and you can tell that this is a choice made to do
Yep.
to play a
to
specific
emphasize
role.
the choreography.
Yeah,
like,
to emphasize the choreography, to enhance the tone, you know what I'm saying? To drive home,
Yeah.
to help the audience feel the stakes of the conflict, you know what I mean? Like there's so many reasons why it's done this way. And I think it's fucking beautiful, man. Like
I think
yeah.
it's gorgeous.
and
I
we've talked
wanna-
about it before. Yeah.
I was gonna say I want to talk a little bit more about the top of page 8, right?
Yeah.
So Yuji like goes and like kicks at Mahito, and
Yeah.
like Mahito dodges under the kick. But then like we were talking last week, like what is this like? I'm thinking, is it a ponytail? Like this like energy coming out of the back of his head, right? It's meant to be like hair or something, but it just looks, especially from the color spread on the cover, like it's still drawn so different than everything else, right? Like it's just like a pure energy. But regardless, whatever it is, he's using it to wrap up Yuji's foot and like grab him for an attack with a tail later. I just thought it was like, that's so interesting.
That
like,
is
what
so
the hell
cool.
is coming out? What is coming out of the back of this dude's head?
At first, like when he kicked at Mahito like this on the top of page 7, and he like dodges it, and then like whips his his little braids around it. You know what I'm saying? I thought that he was like stabbing his foot like over it. When I first went through it, I thought he like was just like stabbing his foot a bunch, but no, he's definitely grabbing it so that he can try to hit him. He's like blocking it and then like holding it there, and then he's trying to whip him with the tail while his braids have his foot caught. But then the next panel, his foot is free and he's blocking the tail, but it didn't show his foot like break free from the braids.
So I think you were right on the first one, saying that like he got his whole like foot like just kind of chopped. Cause
like it was an attack, not like a
because
not like a grab.
You see the bleeding coming off the you see the bleeding coming off the foot after
in the middle panel.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, because I thought he was grabbing it too. I was like, then why doesn't he just throw him with like the back of his head? And I was like, oh, it's because he's cutting his foot and then going for the foot at like, and then he just blocks with the knee.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because like this energy, like we were talking about when we first saw this Mahito design, we were like, what is this stuff coming off the back of his head? And we said a lot of things last week about how like maybe it's just residual energy coming out of his like metamorphosis. You know what I mean? Like he left the old body behind, he shed the skin. Now we're seeing like that moment as he like drops the old skin, and then like maybe that's just like residual energy coming off of that moment. But he's kept it in this fight, and in the color spread, it looks like just like the way that it's drawn in the color spread, it's very reminiscent of like, I don't know, Spawn's cape. You know what I mean? It feels like, you know what I mean, like Tim Burton drapey, like Tim Burton tattered like Tim Burton clothes. You know what I mean? So like it felt like that, but then when it's being used here as like an attack, it's like, okay, like if it's not a grab, obviously if it's a cape, it makes sense that he's grabbing the foot. But if he's damaging the foot, like I don't see any spikes, or I don't see any like needle, like I don't see any sharp. I mean, like it's drawn in a way that looks like it could be sharp, but like if it's,
I just feel like it's energy. I just feel like it's like hair made of energy that he can control.
Solidified energy, or like his hair now that he's transformed. Like,
okay.
And I think that's so cool that he can now just manipulate his hair however he wants to, just like cut, grab, do whatever the fuck he wants. Because I know that's something he kind of couldn't do like before he transformed. Like it was just his body, like limbs and whatever. But now I can manipulate my hair or whatever you want to call it. It's like this headband wrap, whatever it is.
Right. But yeah, dude, I love this double spread on page 14 and 15, bro. Like the
the shading.
Yeah, the shading and like the stark blacks and like whites. Like it really makes it feel like a nuke is like going off like in the background. You know what I mean? Like some kind of crazy explosion.
So I want to talk a little bit about right after this amazing double spread. So page 16, Yuji like has this kind of like moment where he's like, what the fuck is going on here, right? And like you have this gaku sound effect, and he's like, so basically what I'm saying here is he's stuck. He's literally like this attack has happened from above, and he's like, stood up, and he's stuck with some debris under the water, essentially. So like this gaku is like metal, like twisting, bending, like you know what I mean, like and then like he's trying to wiggle out his leg. And then it's interesting because you can see it in the next pages as he's fighting close quarters combat with Mahito. He's standing still. So Mahito's walking right up to him. He hits his own leg. He hits his own leg to like jam it out of whatever's stuck there, but he's still standing there. and then Mahito comes over. He's doing the Jajanken,
Yeah.
and like, but he's standing still. He's like dodging, ducking, rolling around, but while still standing. I think he's literally stuck where he's at.
Wow,
Right now.
I interpreted that so much differently.
Me too.
I saw that as like anxiety, and I saw that
so
as like
too.
his leg like won't stop moving because he's scared, and he's like, nope, we can't be doing that. Boom, you know what I mean?
Right.
He hits the leg like, calm down, Yuji, like we're trying to fight. But what
Right.
you just said, Nick, makes a lot of sense because he doesn't move again. You know what I mean? And he could definitely be stuck, especially with like the explanation you gave on like what that kana usually represents
Right.
inside of sound effects. You know what I mean?
It definitely could still potentially be, I think, an off chance that it is shaking.
Yeah.
Because it's like Gaku could also mean like wobble,
Yeah.
shake. You know what I mean? But I think
Yeah.
he's like jiggling it, like wiggling it
Like,
out
why
to
won't
try and
this
free
come
it.
out? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh
I
my
actually-
god.
I actually
Yeah.
took
See,
this moment.
And with
go
I
ahead.
took it, I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead, Snooty. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I took this moment from like back when he like when I see that like Mahito uses his hair to cut or grab Yuji's foot. That
Right.
now that he's noticing the damage that was done to his foot, now that his foot is in the water, like what he's doing is like stomping, trying to like, oh, can I like, oh, I've lost use of my right foot, so now I can't move. So now he has to stay there and charge up the Jajanken and like have to avoid the like techniques that Mahito's going to be using on him, like swinging his like new elbow blades
Sure.
at him.
Ooh, I can see that too. I can see
Dude,
that too.
three
Like,
completely
stuck-
different interpretations.
You're right.
Stuck, but because of injury.
Noxie,
Yeah.
I was on the same wave as Noxie because I
Yeah.
thought him thinking about the whole line of there's not a single jujutsu sorcerer who could use it at will that
Yeah.
like hit him. Like the
Sure.
shock of him thinking about that was like, oh shit, can I really get that bitch off?
Yeah.
And then he notices his leg shaking. He's like, hey, no, Jigga, chill. Like, you know, like
Yeah, I totally
chill out,
thought it
chill
was
out.
like, yo, wait. You shaking a little bit too much, pimp. Remember, we
Right.
already dealt with this. Choso, Nanami,
Exactly.
Nobara, Toto, you already went through all this. Get it together.
Right, I thought he was telling himself tighten up. Like,
Yeah.
like, get right.
Oh man.
That's interesting. I
Wow.
like that though.
I do
Yeah.
like that. I love how that, and see, like that's another thing that I love Gege for is that, like, okay, Togashi probably would have gave us narration here. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
He probably
Yeah.
would have gave us narration that inside of Yuji's, you know, like mental state, why his leg is shaking, why he did what he did when he hit himself in the knee. You know what I'm saying? We probably would have got exposition like that from Togashi in the form of a narration box. But Gege, while you could see very clear inspiration and influence in Gege's writing and art from Yoshihiro Togashi, there are still specific things that Gege wants to make sure that they do differently from Togashi. And one way I feel like they specifically want to make sure that they are not like Togashi in a certain respect is the way that they deliver information to the reader. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like Gege will give you very subtle information that's always concrete. It always checks out once you get the bigger picture. All of the little information leading up to that bigger picture that you have of a certain concept all checks out when you go back to reference them. But Togashi will dump all of the information on you multiple
Right
times over and over and over again and pound it into your head because there's so much to it. There's a lot to Juryoku in the same vein as there's a lot to Nen, but Gege just delivers that information in small chunks over the course
Yeah,
of
we
a
did
period
that
of
like
time.
that
Well,
we did that like
I'm
show
comedy
not
for
tell
combat.
kind of aspect from Fujimoto, and then we just get like the Tagashi aspect where it's just like, okay, we get this perfect exposition exactly when we need it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with I guess what Akutami does is like the combat's the focus, right? Like I need you guys to feel my characters fighting because I feel like Juryoku, as it is meticulous to a certain degree, it still kind of breaks down to the hands. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Well, I
Yeah.
feel like Togashi has started leaning to where he's like, this Nen is going to be a factor and it's not even a scrap going on. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like it takes so much more, honing in. And that's what I love about Akutami is that because they keep Juryoku so combat focused, they can lean away from all of that. They can
Right.
just show us stuff,
Whereas with Togashi really leans into the explanation side of things
Right.
because he understands that his energy system is a lot. You know what I mean? And
right.
and Gege understands that too, but they're confident in their ability to give you that bigger picture over time, and it will be one cohesive,
Exactly.
route towards that full understanding. And I just love the different approach to a very similar way of giving us a shonen story inside of these two writers, man, for real.
Hell yeah.
So like, what do you guys think? So first of all, Yuji with the lips missing at the end, half of his lips
going on.
Say what?
Oh my! I say you do with the Harvey Dent going on.
Yeah,
like that shit was
the
crazy.
Harvey Dent. Yeah. So do we think he's gonna like? He's probably like because we were talking about how like Mahito like clocked him in the forehead with that like shovel spike he had on the end of his hand in that one chapter, and it gave him that vicious scar on his forehead. So we think that he's gonna keep that. I remember us talking about that. Like we think it would be tight if Yuji kept that. But like, is he gonna keep the grill?
I don't
you
think
know
so.
what I'm saying? Like, what's going on with the
Maybe.
grill situation, bro?
I kind of want him to keep it because like if Sukuna comes out and he's still got that chopped off like lip part as well, like the scar, it's just gonna look so raw with the tattoos and like that slick back hair.
Yes,
it would.
Aesthetically so pleasing.
Yeah, that would be some shit. But at the same time, I feel like if Yuji kept this damage moving forward throughout the rest of the series, I feel like that would just be Gege just like reiterating and rehashing the idea that
we got stakes in this motherfucker.
Yes, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You will come out of these conflicts different, whether it's psychologically, physically, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, exactly. Like just because this is shonen doesn't mean you get to go back to the crib at the end of any kind of threat that comes in and you just get to reset higher base stats with new abilities and you're still pretty. No. Something's gotta you're gonna lose something if you gain something. Yeah, you're like if you gain something, you're probably gonna get something taken away from you. So I love that aspect of Jujutsu Kaisen on the stake side of things. But man, so final question here that I have for the chapter, unless you guys wanted to go into anything else beforehand. But
we might have the same final question, to be honest. So you do yours.
Bottom line, yes or no? Who thinks Mahito is dying in this fight?
No.
Nobody.
No, I can't.
So you guys, so as far as how this fight ends then, do we think that, because I feel like it could happen a couple different ways. I feel like Yuji beats him, doesn't deliver fatal damage, and then he like turns into a puddle and like escapes in the sewer or something. Or Mahito wins, but before delivering a final blow, reinforcements show up, probably in the form of the Kamo school kid or the Kyoto school kids, you know what I'm saying? Or reinforcements could show up for Mahito in the first situation that I described. Instead of him turning into a puddle and slithering away, maybe Uraume shows up, maybe Geto shows up, maybe, you know what I'm saying? There's reinforcements on either side that could pull up and save either fighter.
I almost doubt that there are reinforcements that could save Yuji right now.
Okay.
Like, you could say Kyoto school kids can come. Yeah. They're getting wiped out by Mahito. You know what I mean?
You think all of the Kyoto school? Well, sure, but you think that because Kamo fights at long range?
Yeah,
right?
He's getting washed.
Kamo fights at long range, but
wash.
right. So that's an easy clap 1v1. I agree with you, but I mean, like if they all come in simultaneously and they have like some kind of idea of what's going on, then they can say, okay, Kamo, you sit back here and shoot arrows. Miwa, you get in with your simple domain and like maybe be bait. Whoops, sorry. You know what I'm saying? I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Like they could have some kind of extraction plan. Even if they don't want to beat Mahito, they could be like, okay, boom, dump the arrows, grab Yuji, boom, splash the whatever special effects someone else have, boom, we get out of here in a cloud of smoke. I don't fucking know. But
I'll be honest. I was thinking, I'm going to say my answer to your question is I'm on the literal fence and I can see it going either way. Yeah. And the reason why I say either way is like I said before, the whole him saying like the killing you is going to complete my soul. I definitely see Mahito dying here, but being something that's permanently spiritually and, psychologically stuck with Yuji.
That's right.
But on the end of Yuji losing, I'm going to be real. I don't see Uraume popping up helping Mahito. I see Uraume popping up and helping Yuji.
Yeah.
And when I say that in terms of Uraume's mindset would be, you idiot's curses already fed him 10 fingers. He done ate too many to let him die.
Yeah.
You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He ate too many to let him die. So Uraume will pop in on some, look, you already be talking crazy to Sukuna, and you can't be killing his vessel. He already got stuff to do. I'm gonna have to get you up out of here.
Right, that makes way more sense because they don't. Yeah.
So I was about to say, and they don't see Uraume do it. Uraume take him out, say some cryptic shit, dip, and only Yuji left.
Because
it makes, get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes so much sense that Uraume would help Yuji because obviously they roll with Sukuna. Yes, obviously they fed him the amount of fingers for the let's get Yuji on our side plot. not the let's kill Yuji plot. So like the
Yeah,
let's kill
yeah,
Yuji
yeah.
plot was when he was still like 4 fingers deep. Let's get him out of here. But now he's got like, you know,
15.
a diplomatic amount of fingers inside of him. You know what I mean? So it's
That's
like,
hilarious.
yeah, you know, that's
You really
super
got diplomatic
funny.
immunity. That's actually hilarious.
Yeah,
that's
it's like
a-
we got to talk
that's
to
a
this
lot.
man now. With the ship has sailed on killing this person. Yeah, that's super funny.
On the other side of Dancho's point, though, I could
Yeah.
totally see like while reinforcements show up for Yuji,
Mhm.
Geto pulls up and says, "Okay, Gojo's in the box. We can dip now. They've got too much to really be handling. We'll get the answer on like what happened between Mei and Wee Wee and like what happened in that whole fight in the subway,
Mhm.
and then you just have Mahito and Geto running rampant all across Japan."
Mhm.
Man.
While the sorcerers are struggling to get their forces back up because now we got Mahito on the loose and we can't afford to assassinate Yuji because he's got 15 fingers in him,
Right.
and
Wow.
so now we just
Right.
gotta train up.
But
Mhm.
I'll be honest with you. I think the higher ups are going to be idiots and think killing Yuji is the smart thing to do.
Oh yeah,
I'll
for
jump
sure.
in-
Yeah,
I'll
for
jump-
sure.
I'll jump in the
I
book myself.
definitely subscribe to the idea that Gakuganji knows about what happened here in Shibuya tonight and wants to expedite the execution of Yuji for
Yes.
sure. And maybe we're
For
going to
sure.
get some political conflict inside of Yaga trying to shoot for Yuji. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? This was, you know, a situation that, you know, there's a little bit more factors involved, and he transformed into Sukuna and killed a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? He saved a bunch of lives too. But like, maybe we should like, you know, think about this a little bit more. And Gojo's not there to be like, try and execute him. I dare you. You know what I'm saying? So we could see a very political aftermath of Shibuya incident alongside a very self-reflecting, you know what I'm saying, look into the aftermath of Shibuya inside of the characters involved. So I would love, I'm telling you right now, if we get an arc that's 50% dedicated to like the political atmosphere of Jujutsu Kaisen after this arc, and the other half is dedicated to like what these people do with this event psychologically and like personally after the fact, and we just get hella growth on the character side of things for the characters involved and hella world building on the political side of things inside of Jujutsu Kaisen, that would literally be the perfect way to transition out of this arc instead of just going into the next big threat, which Shonen is very much known for. A self-reflection arc after this is so necessary, I feel like.
So needed.
And I have one final question because you brought that up, and I'm sorry, I don't want to go too off topic before we get to the next chapter. But going back to when Yuji woke up, right? It seemed like he got a flash of everything that Sukuna had did, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
So do you think he's going to bring up to Megumi that Sukuna needs him for something?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, because he definitely has that information himself. Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, is he going to bring that up to Megumi? And if he does, are we going to get a real Sukuna sitting and having a conversation with Megumi? And that's kind of something I hope we get coming up, because I think it's crucial. It'll be crucial because it'll be not only Megumi, we need to learn what's going on with General Maharaga and how the hell he survived that shit. And two, he's going to be figuring out who the fuck Toji is. So I think this is going to be a giant like character arc for him as well, trying to progress on to the next level. It just makes me wonder if Yuji's going to speak up, and if he really does have that information where he's like, okay, dude, no lie, like Sukuna needs you for some shit. And I wonder if that's going to be something Akutami plays with. What do you guys think?
The way that I see this going, I love that. The way that I see this going, now that you said that, is like, okay, I don't see personally myself seeing Yuji and Megumi even talking to each other at all for a long time after this. Even after they're all healed up, you know what I'm saying? They're all healed up. I feel like everyone goes on their personal route for self-reflection in some way. I can see Nobara going to find a way to deal with her maiming in some kind of way. I can see Yuji going on his own to find a way to deal with the trauma of what he did during Shibuya and just the events of it in general. I can see Megumi healing up and going, I'm going to go find out who this Toji guy is. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone's going to have a very different approach to like the future of their character directly after this arc. I don't see them interacting too much at all. I can see at the very end of that arc, maybe the final scene of whatever that self-reflection arc is Megumi and Yuji having a conversation like, look, bruh, it's been a fat minute. Sukuna said some shit. You know what I mean?
Let me throw a butt in there, though. Let me throw a butt in there. I like what you're saying, but if Nobara is thoroughly injured, right? Like not just here's some reverse Juryoku and you're healed magically, right? Like if there's some like hospital room time, that's the perfect moment for Yuji and Megumi to meet up. And the perfect time for a very short conversation of like, hey, just for the record, like Sukuna definitely wants you for something. Go use that information on your self-reflection journey.
Yeah.
Peace out. But like, there's, I think there will be an opportunity where they'll meet up after
That's
this.
a really good point. Yeah, because I can definitely see them, chilling with Shoko, like getting wrapped up. You know what I'm saying? Getting bandaged up. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm about to go take some time for myself before I go. Sukuna wants you for something. Bye. You know what I'm saying? That'd be some shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Great question. Absolutely. I think that was a very thorough discussion of the chapter tonight, despite the fact that it was so action heavy. There was still a lot of dialogue, and I feel like we touched on all of the most important moments of conversation in this exchange during this chapter. So are you guys think you're good?
I think I'm good. Yeah,
right.
I'm good.
Cool. Great conversation, you guys. Bang out job.
Per usual.
Yeah. All right. Getting into Chainsaw Man, chapter 95. Chainsaw Man versus Control Devil. And not a whole lot of like, meat and potatoes to this chapter as far as like what can be expounded on or explained or, you know what I'm saying, discussed about, because this is literally all action. There's maybe like 3 words.
Should really just be called Poor Denji.
Yeah.
Right.
I do have a good jumping in point for something to talk about here. Like amidst this epic battle between Denji and Makima, did y'all notice like how Makima's regeneration contract ability with the Prime Minister is like being drawn? Like, so for example, right away, off goes Makima's head. And then in the next page, this is probably page, I don't know, 2 or 3. It's I never know what page number it is with fucking apps or whatever. But Makima's head, like, boom, the blood or the veins or something, the blood between her severed head and her body, like, connect and zoom back. And so that happens like several times with like her body, an arm, like an arm on page 7, just like her arm is off, and then it's like zoom connected.
That's right. Yeah,
I was hoping I was the only one who noticed that.
Bro, I did not see, because this is different than the regeneration that we've seen from her throughout the series. Like, this is a lot quicker. This is a lot more like snap to position than what we've seen before. Well, I mean, maybe it isn't different, and like we've just been shown those scenes. You know what I mean?
After
the actual like regeneration happens.
Because, I don't think we've ever seen like a in the moment regeneration.
That's right. She's always off screen. Like, she's always killed, and then she goes away, and then she's just back. You know what I mean? So
after like the Kyoto, I think it was the train to or from Kyoto when she got shot by all those people, like she had a bunch of bloody wounds on her shirt, but that was her shirt, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's like we didn't see the bullet wounds healing or anything, I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was super sick, like to see that in play or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially like look at page like 6. I want to say 6 in terms of like the top panel, boom, Makima headless. Kicks Denji, and then the middle panel is her head like snapping back onto her body or whatever, like
in like 64-bit illustration, like And see, dude, this is another thing, right? So like Chainsaw Man has always had like a grittier style to its comic, and like especially inside of the character designs, you know what I mean? So like you have these brilliantly drawn and beautifully designed and shaded and detailed landscapes, structures, creatures, you know what I'm saying, inanimate objects are always drawn like beautiful with all this detail, but then the characters are drawn like very ingloriously. And like when you are in these like fights where the combat is so fast paced and you can see the blur of the movement on everyone, it's like this is very immersive inside, you know what I mean, as far as like what we're supposed to feel during this fight. It's very easily communicated to us by Fujimoto Tatsuki. That's why I don't understand why people have an issue with this inside of Jujutsu Kaisen. Probably because every fight is like this. But but I mean, like, still, there's a very obvious and very clear point as to why it's drawn this way, and it does what it needs to do. You know what I mean? I feel every single emotion that I'm supposed to feel during this conflict, and there's no confusion about it. And Makima, I didn't know had hands like this. We never seen her just swinging on you before.
Hand to hand Makima.
Yeah, hand to hand Makima is stupid, bro. She punched through Denji.
Yeah. Like
where is that power coming from? Like, that is crazy to me. That,
And I think what really kills it is her going like, "You would lose to my bare hands, like you not even Chainsaw Man for real." It's like, damn.
Like I don't even need my contract for you, bro. You should catch this fade. That's it.
Wow. I wanna talk a little bit about the dialogue.
Yeah.
After she has, she's ripping out the heart, and then she goes on this kind of monologue as we've been saying, and like how disappointed she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is a point I wanted to make about it. She says, Chainsaw Man doesn't spit. Chainsaw Man doesn't wear clothing, doesn't talk. Every action he takes should be chaotic.
Yeah.
And then she says, despite not getting him at all, you were chosen by Chainsaw Man. And remember back to last chapter, or maybe it was 2 chapters ago. Anyway, they were talking about, like movies, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you think bad movies should not exist? And she's like, yeah, you know what? I think bad movies shouldn't exist. She's a fucking movie buff. She's jealous that like Denji, who doesn't get Chainsaw Man, like, oh, you're just a pleb. You don't even like fucking. You haven't even read the manga of Chainsaw Man. You don't even understand Chainsaw Man. You don't even get him. Like, and he's picking you. I don't get it. Like, she just missed. I love this like movie lover Makima.
Yes.
Like,
oh my gosh, she's such a hipster.
Yeah.
The closest we've really gotten Makima to being angry.
Yeah.
Because she's so irritated. Like, oh my god, you are so not even a fan of Chainsaw Man. How dare you?
Yeah, I love it.
This chose you.
Yeah, this is definitely the least opaque her character has been in the entire series. Obviously, because it's ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it's just so crazy to see her behave in ways that weren't even really fathomable inside of her character, like in the beginning. But she's still so Makima at the same time. It's not like a stark difference between the Makima we're seeing now and the Makima we've seen throughout the history of the story. Which I just love Fujimoto for being able to still encapsulate everything that is Makima while showing us a different side of her that we really didn't know if we were going to see. Like, we thought that she would die the exact same character and just like die with that mystery around her. You know what I mean? Like, because Fujimoto could definitely do that, but him showing us more of her in these like pissed off like kind of like moments is really good for me because I've wanted that personally.
Yeah. And it makes total sense because it is the control devil who is pissed off of her lack of control, right? She wants Chainsaw Man to fall in love with her and just be best buds because like I'm your biggest fan. It's like, well, that's not how the world works, right?
What do you mean it's not? You know, she's
and
totally
so she's pissed, like she should be able to control everything, but she can't. So it's like she's pissed off or whatever. Yeah, I love it.
Am I the only one that heard fucking the juvenile beat come on page 10 when she backs that thing up on Denji?
This guy,
I heard that boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but no, this is a really cool attack though on this page, on page 10, because like coming out of page 9, obviously she punches him like through the back, through the stomach, and then like turns him around or something like that. I don't even know what that really is at the bottom of page 9.
So she's top of page 9, she's pushing through him.
Yep.
Bottom of page 9, she's ripping
it out, and then he's like whipping around, and then in the next page she like pops him, pow, hits him with the booty bolt. You know what I'm saying?
I honestly think it's a punch again. But,
you think it's a punch again?
Arm. Yeah, I think she's like doing another one right through his arm real quick.
Okay.
On her arm, real like sketchy almost, because it's like the speed of her going pop.
There is movement illustration on her arm, but I just figured that was just like her body like turning around for the fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like she's ripping her arm out of the hole again or whatever. I don't know, but I just saw that as like a little, you know what I'm saying?
Looking at this fight again, I feel so bad for Denji.
Yeah, dude, he's getting his shit pushed in, bro.
Especially this double page spread where you just see Makima with his heart in his hand, just looking so disappointed in what's like on her.
Yeah, she's like pathetic, dude. This is personally my favorite double spread in the entire series. I think.
I'd have to go back and look, but it's top 10.
I'd have to go back and look for sure. But like this, just like I don't remember the last time I was like, oh my god, this double spread. It happens a lot in Chainsaw Man, but this is just the most intense reaction I feel like I personally had on seeing a double spread on this page turn was so drastic. From going from page 10 or from page 11 to 12 and 13, like I was just like, holy shit. And
do you
Pochita,
think,
no, Pochita's
yeah.
face on the heart. I don't think we've
Oh.
ever seen Pochita's face on the heart yet.
I don't think we
You
have. I
know,
think
because
we
he
just got,
pulled
like,
his heart out in the Star Chainsaw chapter. He pulled his
Sure.
heart out and then like threw it
Sure.
back down to Earth. We didn't
Yeah.
see Pochita's face on that one. You know what I mean? Like this is the first time we're really seeing like, oh no, they got the heart this time. You know what I mean? They've been
Ooh.
trying to get this heart the whole fucking series,
Damn.
and she just Pochita right
really
there.
rip power. I don't know how she's coming back.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Oh
Oh God, man,
wow,
man, it just
It's
God.
sick.
yeah.
All these graves, the heart in Makima's hand, the disappointment just all
Yeah.
over her face.
Yeah. Fucking Fujimoto Tatsuki snapped on this Makima. He's like we've talked about before about how like his facial expressions, his character designs, you know, like leave a little bit to be desired. But like once you get used to it, obviously you're like, okay, yeah, this is Fujimoto's style. But like specifically for this panel of Makima, he really made sure he was like, okay, I need to
Emotion
definitely convey the emotion and you know the thoughts that are being, you know, shown inside of Makima here, and like she just looks utterly disappointed
Disgusted.
and disgusted
Like,
in this
just-
situation.
Ugh.
Pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way she rips that heart out just has me like, God damn.
Yeah.
Even at like the end of the chapter too, where she's like, then just die. Like,
Yeah,
Just
bro.
rips it out,
Like,
you're
man,
oh.
whenever manga characters say then die,
Yeah.
it's always like super epic. Like,
hmm
Man,
wow.
every time.
Yeah. So
Every
what do you guys think? So she rips the heart out for sure, severs the contact. Because in the double spread she pulls it out, but it's still connected. But
Right.
then on 18, no, boom. This heart is
Yeah,
mine
out.
now. It is not a
Right.
part of you anymore.
What
What do we
big family special?
Yeah, so what do we so what do we think is like next then? You know what I mean? Because it's
Joke
like
answer. Denji says a heart is more of a philosophical concept. Like it's not really the organ per se. Like Pochita's heart is with me still. You know what I mean? Like,
yo,
No.
Pochita's heart.
imagine it.
I have
Oh
no
my
idea
God.
what the fuck is about to happen.
I have no idea. I'm not Kiko. I don't have the snapback USB on my ball head. Like it's just like I don't know what to expect. Like your heart just got ripped out, bro. I don't
Like,
know
I'm
what to
wondering
tell
if
you.
Pochita's about to do something unexpected here.
Yo,
or,
and
like,
Pochita's about to hit the
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to do with like Makima's like what's her motivation exactly, right? Like
Yeah.
she wants the chainsaw devil. What is her motivation exactly? You know what I mean? Like
did she say she wants the chainsaw devil to eat all of the concepts she has decided aren't like fit for the world?
right.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
So she really just wants Chainsaw to turn into real Chainsaw and work under her. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just
guess she's
bring
not
chaos.
going to kill. She's not going to kill Pochita.
True.
Right.
Right.
True.
Mhm.
But beyond that, it's very hard for me to understand like what is the next step in this plan. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So hard to read.
So hard to read.
And what is
Mhm.
Denji about to do? Like,
Right.
Is he dead?
Lay
here?
Is
there.
Denji just like dead?
Right, like what is he about to do?
Mhm.
Right, because the whole reason why he has the regenerative capabilities that he does is because Pochita was there, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
Pochita's not there anymore, then like Denji has to be dead here unless Power, he's gonna make a new contract with the Blood Devil right now. And it's gonna be just
How,
Denji
though?
and the Blood Devil. Because
He's half a body and no
I know
heart.
because
How?
Power's blood is still there.
Oh yeah,
in
you're right,
him.
right.
But
Oh,
Right?
but she said you have to come find the blood. You have to go find the blood devil.
Yeah, that's right.
And convince it, that it's power or whatever, right? So I don't think like the Blood Devil is in Denji right now. It could be,
Or maybe going to search for the Blood Devil is a psychological or a spiritual thing more so than like a physical thing. And he has to find the Blood Devil within himself to
I like
form
the
a
concept.
contract and
Yeah,
like
just going on a
the
hit
vision
the.
quest.
Yeah. If Kiko said it, y'all would be on the floor. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Nah,
He would say it better.
Right, dog. I'll take it now.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Dude, I don't know
what's
how.
next.
I don't know how to justify it yet, but I am very confident that since Denji no longer has a heart, unless he outright dies here, and the story of Denji is over, and Kishibe finishes this fucking story, then like I can totally see Power becoming Denji's new heart, and him just being the Blood Man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Right.
He finishes the series as the Blood Man. I have no idea.
Now that you said, I think it would be so hilarious if you just see like Kishibe off in the distance. You never should have told me you had a contract with the Prime Minister. Then starts doing like, the Spider-Man.
Yeah,
3,
yeah.
like, and then starts doing the Spider-Man 3 dance as he's watching Makima die.
Hey, yo.
Oh,
Hey, you want to know what? Fujimoto's a huge fucking movie buff. It's not outside of the realm of possibility that he would throw a Spider-Man 3 reference in this story.
True.
I mean, I can't personally see it, but definitely not impossible for Fujimoto. I don't think I have anything more to say about this chapter.
The last thing I think
Neither,
I'll say, like
honestly.
this monologue that Makima goes on. It's just like I know we already covered it, but it's just like it's so good because she's just like Chainsaw Man doesn't spit.
Yeah.
Like she's just irritated.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I can't wait
super
to hear
pissed.
her voice actor in this moment.
I
feel like I'm like for the first time I'm excited to hear this in dub, right?
Mhm.
Because
Oh,
like
sure.
because we're saying the dialogue ourselves in English and we're saying it the way that we think she's saying it. So it's gonna be interesting to see how like the dub voice actor actually like delivers the scene. Because in the Japanese, sure, we could probably it'll probably hit similarly, but just because of like the difference in dialect and like the different and like the barrier and whatnot, we might not like it might not hit the same for us as it would it'll probably hit the same way for a Japanese person in Japanese as it would for us in English.
Yeah.
But like we're not Japanese, so I'm like super excited to hear the dub on this specifically.
I mean, I don't know about that. Dub hasn't been good since 2006.
Hey, you're not lying, but and normally I wouldn't even bring up the dub, but just because of like our conversation on this chapter,
I
like
feel like they could do a really good job with like the Chainsaw Man dub.
yeah, for sure.
They could.
Yeah.
They can
Especially
do a good
if
job
they
with
give
anything.
because we were exactly, but we were talking about it on the
you're
on the
right.
Chainsaw Man anime expectations one shot that we did. Who would be like we did like that voice actor fan casting, and you want to know what stuck with me ever since then? Nick, you saying the dub for Power should be Haru Haru Haruko from Fooly Cooley.
Yeah.
I can't unhear it. I literally
Yeah.
cannot
Actually.
unhear it now. You know what I mean? I can't remember who we said for Makima. I think I said Nico Robbins' voice actor, just
Sure.
because she
I
sounds like
could
a
hear that.
pissed off mom. You know what I mean? So it's like that's just the voice I hear in Makima. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I could really hear that, to be honest.
yeah. But anything else, you guys?
No, that's all I had.
That's it for me.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, great combo, guys. All right, getting into Mashle, Magic and Muscles, Chapter 41, Mashburn Dead and the Divine Visionaries. And I just want to say this chapter to me felt like, for the first time in my experience reading Mashle, I want to personally say that this is the first time that all of the themes of Mashle have felt present in one chapter. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's all of the things, all of the ways that that Mashle can be serious are done very well in this chapter. All of the ways that Mashle can be funny are done well in this chapter. We have a very good representation of new magics and whatnot, and we have a lot of new world building, a lot of new characters introduced, and I just think that this is probably top 3 Mashle chapters for me so far, especially just because I love courtroom settings for characters. Like, I just love those arcs in fiction. You know what I'm saying? The trial of Magneto, all of those like kind of stories are like my favorite kind of situations where the main character who you want to root for is up against like super intense odds because it's like law. It's not like a fight, you know what I'm saying, where we know that Mashle will just knock you out. This is like the law in a courtroom, you know what I'm saying? You can't just flex out of this, or can you? Here we have Mashle showing us how he can literally flex himself out of any situation, even if it's not physical. And I just love that about this series.
Yeah. I love like the right away, just like, so I guess we're adjourning now. It's like, it's not your decision to make, you fucking idiot.
Dude, Mash has so many quotable, like, super funny one-liners in this chapter.
Yeah.
I would say it's weird, because my experience reading Mashle is like I understand it's like a flowing story and things add together, but I still feel like I'm reading like an individual thing each chapter.
Yeah, it does feel very episodic at times.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like stupid, or it doesn't feel like I'm wasting my time. You know, like it feels like I'm doing something that I'm rewarded for every time. And like you said, this was a chapter that incorporated everything. And my favorite part was just the whole the like snake thing. They said that would like eat your, eat you, with like consume you when you take it off somebody.
Yeah.
And then all he does is tie it like a cherry knot, and then it spits it out.
Come on, man.
It's hilarious.
It's so cool seeing Komodo show us just how inventive and imaginative he is with showing Mash's physical feats. Because everyone has been like, I want to tie cherry stems with my tongue. You know what I mean? Like me personally, I've never been able to do that. And I'm like so impressed by people who can. You know what I mean? So like this is a huge physical feat for Mash, in my opinion, just because of my inability to do this. You know what I mean? Even though it's just like funny, but like it's like duh, Mash will do this. You know what I mean?
It's also like really funny. Like you think of it as a physical feat for Mash, like, oh yeah, it's just Mash. But then like you just remember like, oh yeah, the tongue is a muscle.
Yeah, the strongest one you have. I mean, like, no. It is scientifically the strongest muscle you have, like, according to its scale. Look it up.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Okay,
That's a fun fact that I learned on like Fox Kids TV in like 2003, like in the morning when they would have their like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like in between like Yu-Gi-Oh and like fighting foodons, there were like the little bumps or commercials where they like dropped fun facts, like the fastest land speed anyone's ever been recorded on a skateboard and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like you get those little fun facts everywhere. I remember the tongue is like your strongest muscle.
So get out there and buy more lollipops, kids.
That's interesting.
Hey, you want to know what? One thing that I wanted to bring up from this chapter is that we remember last week we were talking about, like, I think Kiko said, we've seen this cat in the glasses at the head of the Divine Visionary group before. And we have, because this is the dude, isn't he the dude who controlled the floor and like where everyone sunk down to? In the no, he's not. Isn't this the same magic that like transported everyone to their specific fights in the last arc?
The dude, yeah, go ahead, Snooty.
Yeah, the guy who fought Lance. I keep wanting. Is it Lance?
I don't know. I just remember at the start of the conflict in the last arc, everyone fell through the floor and then ended up in a different room. And it's like, this is the dude who fought Lance, I'm pretty sure.
No, it was the dude who fought Lance, but this is not the dude who fought Lance. I don't think, right? The dude who fought Lance had mud magic and he had a wizard hat. Yeah. And I guess I'm trying to look up that character or whatever back, because I don't think this is him.
Okay. Maybe they're related then, potentially.
The lines might relate.
They all related.
If you are going to look into that, maybe I'm wrong here, or maybe they're related, or maybe it is the same character. Until we figure that out, I just want to say, since you brought up the line designs, this double spread showing the Divine Visionaries is really cool. It's really cool because once we get the breakdown of who these characters are, some of their line designs, like we've been saying since we started covering this series, line designs are sometimes very indicative of your magic affinity. So we have the Cemetery Administration, the Immortal Cain, and he has a cross not only in his logo of his Divine Visionary classification, but also his line design is a Judeo-Christian, like, you know what I'm saying, like cross, and he works in a cemetery, so we can assume he's a necromancer. We can assume that he, you know, is some kind of spiritual magic user. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Yeah,
So, I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Also, just to sneak that in, like, since we were talking about it before, they are related because the guy who fought Lance, his name is Worth Model, and this guy is Order Model. So they are related. I'm just not sure how. It's chapter 24.
I knew it.
Okay.
Yeah, because they both had the Vash the Stampede glasses, the dude who fought Lance, and this dude has the John Lennon shades, you know what I'm saying? So, like, and they have a similar haircut, you know what I'm saying? I was like, that's either the same dude, or that's, like, his little or big bro, or something like that, you know what I mean? We've seen family, you know what I mean? Like, we've seen families in the series already inside of the Reigns family and whatnot, you know what I mean? So, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a dude who looks almost identical to this in the Magi Lupus. It was who Lance fought, but the lines are different.
Okay, so
he just has lines going straight up and down his face. When this dude has like the kind of brick
the brackets.
Square, the brackets or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So Worth Battle. Exactly right, Snooty.
Nice, Snooty. Okay, so that pretty much hard confirms that this dude is related to that guy. I think so, because they have
don't think that's hard confirmed.
Well, they have very similar magic because he has sand magic over here. On this guy, they have very similar aesthetics in their character design. One uses sand magic, one uses mud magic. They have very similar names. One is Order, one is Worth. I don't know.
Oh, do we know his name? We do. Yeah, of course we do. Yeah. We just got his name this chapter. Yeah.
Worth and
Order. You're totally right. Yeah.
Yep. So I think that is, at least for me, hard confirmation there. But I just now that we have this cemetery guy, Renat, and first of all, I just want to say I love the naming inside of this
I really
series.
do. Renatus Revolt.
Renatus Revolt. So tight, but you want to know what? Run that backwards. Lover.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I I don't know what that other word is backwards, but like
Satainer?
yeah. But I mean, like that's just like with a series like this where you have names that are obviously just like plays on like, you know, like semantics essentially. Like you just run like the first thing I think is like, okay, what do these names say backwards? You know what I mean? And I can just see lover in this dude's name.
I called that girl's ability.
Which one?
Ice.
Sophina.
One?
Ice. Yeah, you did say ice.
Totally said that shit. Snow. I said snow, but it's like the same thing.
You said it.
It's the same thing.
It's cold. It's cold. It's cold weather magic. Damn it.
Yeah. But yeah, so like now that so like we see the cemetery guy, he's got the cross on his cheek. I want to say he's a necromancer, but it's obviously just some kind of like spiritually related magic inside of him.
I mean, he's the immortal king.
Well, he says immortal. He could just be immortal. Yeah. He could just be immortal.
I was thinking that maybe he had like a regeneration kind of like magic.
Yeah. He's like an Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then obviously we guessed the ice chick, and then this one right here, the flame cane. I don't think that there's anything indicative in his line design that says fire to me, unless he has like, unless his fire magic is like so potent that it's like lasers, and he like shoots like superheated lasers at you, which I could totally see it being like a lined X design, because he'll probably like shoot lasers like bzzz, you know what I mean? Maybe potentially that's
maybe
just me.
And he has a sword. Like, why does he have a sword if he's a flame dude?
Okay. So then he channels his magic probably through his sword as a medium and just has a flame sword, which could explain the cross section of his line design, because he slashes you. You know what I mean? So it could be something like that. But then this dragon guy, because I remember last chapter we made a joke and said like maybe the dragon is the sentient one, and the human is, because it has a collar on. You know what I'm saying? And like we were like, it's gonna be really cool if the human is like not the actual person and the dragon is. You know what I mean? But then that goes into like weird like moral stuff with like you know what I mean? Like why like this seemingly human person is just allowed to be controlled by this magical dragon in this way, in this very dominating way. But then the knowledge came. So remember we were talking about this lady and this like what was on her head. You said it was a hat. I think Kiko said it looked like a blossoming rose, which I think flower, I then agreed with, so that makes sense. But then like knowledge came. I don't know how her line design,
I don't know.
Me either.
I don't know how.
I've been trying to figure this out like since I read the chapter.
Okay, how about question marks? Like a question, knowledge.
Oh, man, you did it. That's it. That's literally it.
Yeah, you might be onto something.
That's literally it.
It looks just like a question mark. I think he could be onto something here.
I mean, like knowledge questions.
I'm with you. I just
so
thought that
good.
Right now. I did not think of that until just now. So yeah.
That's so good. Okay, so order, or wait, no. Orter. Okay.
Yeah.
So this dude is the Desert Cane. Obviously, that makes sense because he uses sand magic. Okay. This is
Sabulous.
Yeah. But
Sand coffin.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of who do you guys think is the strongest out of all of
I
these
want
guys?
to say order because he's got such a stick up his ass, but
and he's in the front, you know what I'm saying? And he's in the front,
Well, I guess it seems to be very like him having just to be like, we gotta make this decision unanimous and like just wanted to hone into the court thing. Yeah, it just makes me feel like he's like the serious one, the one that like nobody knows not to play with.
Yeah, he does feel in the double spread a lot more like regal than everybody else.
But at the same time, I also want to say it's Rio Grant. Sorry for cutting you off.
I was literally going to say that same thing, so that's totally fine. I totally agree with you. It's not one of the six. It's the other guy.
Oh, it's Buddy in the back. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah, like he completely broke off from like the rest of the group, went ahead and disrupted the entire court session and had no problems doing. That's the only time that you see people like Gojo do. Like
no one checked him. Nobody checked him when he was like disrupting the court and like playing his game.
He didn't even disrupt by himself. He also brought his buddy with the wine, right? Like his like butler or whatever, right? Like you know you're stunting if you're doing that.
Yeah, for real.
You gotta bring Paolo with the juicy.
So this scene after that, this scene after all of this, that is unacceptable, right? Starting on the bottom of page 9, going into like this dude being obviously possessed by this innocent zero parasite. How do you guys feel about that? Like this totally caught me off guard at first.
Yeah, it's super.
Because I was like, okay, yeah. So when he came out and he was like, "We are innocent zero," everyone looks like they're reacting in a way to where they're surprised. But like, isn't this like a high-ranking like official that's saying this right now who's being possessed? So
That's
originally,
high-ranking
yeah,
officials
so
in like the school.
yeah,
for
so
sure.
like he's one of the dudes in the chairs who are judging MASH right now, obviously. So like at least that's what I thought. I can't remember. Yeah, he's definitely one of the ones pointing a finger at MASH. So when he says we are Innocent Zero and everyone reacts to that, I'm going, okay, so like Innocent Zero is inside of like the governmental, situation inside of this school, and like Innocent Zero, like the administration is the bad guys here because Innocent Zero is showing himself through this guy, but then no, you find out it's a parasite. You know what I mean? But then like, so did this parasite sneak in unbeknownst to everyone and take control of this dude to give this message, right?
You know what? God, why can't I remember his name?
Like,
I
why
just
did
had it
this
on
just so
TikTok.
casually happen where this dude just came out of the woodwork and said these things?
Right.
It's a good question.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
And no one's like, how did that thing get in here? What's going on? No one is like, everyone is just addressing this dude after he goes crazy as if this is normal or something. Or I don't know.
What I took it as like, this is what Cell War was doing and why he needed to disguise himself as Lance. So like he could just walk around being unnoticed by everybody, doing whatever he needs to do, planning whatever parasites, beasts, or traps he needs to around the school.
Mhm.
And then he's walking to, he's walking to MASH and crew. Like that's when he gets caught. So like finish what he needed to do, and then he needed to go actually finish up what he needed to do, which was get whatever MASH has within his body or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm just so confused by why. Okay, so like
This
if
guy?
this parasite was not here at the start of this trial,
Right.
and then this guy is like yelling at MASH, like, you blew it, you're grounded, you're death penalty, whatever he's saying to him. And then like the fucking parasite slithers into the room unbeknownst to everyone, takes control of this dude, and then gives them this message as Innocent Zero. Their reactions to that, it's like they don't give a fuck about this dude, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're just like,
Right.
oh, okay, you're possessed now? Well, let's hear what you got to say. All right. Like they're not
like you said, Knox. It kind of does feel like Innocent Zero. Like they kind of be plotting. Like they seem to must do stuff like this or something like that, right? I mean, even the magic parasite thing, the creature itself didn't come off like a, oh my god, they used the magic parasite.
Yeah.
It kind of just was like, oh,
it's a magic parasite. Yeah. You know what I mean?
like, yeah.
So,
And why does a magic parasite allow Innocent Zero to communicate through this dude in the first place?
It seems like it's
yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like it's a little out of its like ability range. Like, okay, so you grow by absorbing magic. That's cool. Why are you also a radio?
Right.
Yeah.
The way that I interpreted this is that Innocent Zero loaded something into this parasite that like links them to it in a way to when the parasite connects themselves to the host, then the Innocent Zero dude who unleashed it can then talk to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, by itself, the parasite probably just does exactly what it says and find a host to feed on mana. But since it was sent by an Innocent Zero person, they probably manipulated it or augmented it in some way with their own magic to where when it did its thing and connect itself to someone, now they have a link to them in a way that they can communicate.
It could be some type of like a magic beast controller or something.
Yeah, it could be something like that. Hey, beast magic, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Yeah,
I'm so shocked that we didn't even say that, seeing as how we just got Agita Tyrone being like the magical creatures administration within the Divine Visionaries.
Yeah. Great point. That's hilarious.
Wait a minute now, because we could have a traitor in our midst here. Because one of these Divine Visionaries could be controlling this parasite right now. And potentially Buddy Tyrone dude with this
could be
dragon with the leash on him. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be a hint that like, okay, obviously this leash implies dominance or control over another individual.
Sure.
So if this dragon is controlling this person, or this person is controlling this dragon, or whatever their relationship is, could be linked to the situation with this other beast being used in this way. Maybe.
I feel like if there's a traitor, it's either going to be Agito Tyrone or Rio Grant, because like it looks like he's not like too worried about the parasite. Like, yeah, fine, okay, I'll remove the parasite, whatever. It's not going to affect me anyway.
Sure,
He might be working undercover and being basically what feels like the strongest one, because the secretary or whoever the fuck this kid is says like, you'll be crystallized in an instant. Like, okay, so you're hard body. We know this now. So maybe it's either him or Tyrone.
Sure.
And I feel like it might be Tyranny, like being his last name.
Hey, hold on, wait a minute. It might be on this, and it's just like, man, like it's not uncommon to see traitor plots in, especially like I feel like we've been seeing a lot of them inside of this magazine lately. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Right.
so like, if there is a traitor plot, and we kind of just like guessed it before it was told to us in the series,
That would be wild.
that's
That would be
fucking
wild.
cool,
Wild,
man.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's fucking just off of the parasite, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we
Because it was way too casual, man. Like it was so casual.
if we made that link though before the story tells us, I'm gonna be like super excited about that. But
All credit. Follow me on Twitter.
Honestly.
I did have an interesting point to bring up, a minor point on page 8 or whatever. So the what's his dude's name? Order Maddle is kind of like describing why they should go ahead with the rules and kill Mash, right? And he says at the top of page 8, furthermore, bowing to our emotions as peers of the realm sets a bad example. And I just wanted to throw out there, in case people like didn't know or whatever, that like peers in this scenario is like peerage, like nobility, right? Like they're nobles essentially. A king, you have a king, and like all the nobles are peers. So you have like a peerage, and like you're basically like on team king or whatever, right? So like they're a different class of people than other people, not just because of like the visionary title, but like there seems to be a noble system or whatever. And if there is a traitor within the nobles of like this magic community system or whatever, that would be another huge potential future plot point.
Yes.
That would work.
Within that same like statement, within that same like page, I want to know what he's talking about when he says we'll be admitting there are special exceptions. Like who else would be a special exception within this super high strung society where you just off people for not having magic?
So then that means
he's talking about Mash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say he's talking about Mash, but then he says like, yeah, we're gonna kill you at the end of the day. So
right. So then that means if they kill Mash here, then that means that they've made an exception for someone else before Mash. Because if they're going to say there are exceptions and then not include Mash in the exceptions, and that means that they've accepted somebody else, right?
No, I think he's saying like if we allow exceptions, like they're talking about we are going to kill Mash.
Yeah.
Now if we allow exceptions for Mash and accept that then the system fails. We'll be admitting, and they'll basically be saying like, oh, nobles exist under a different set of rules, and that'll make the whole thing, be a farce or whatever, right? Like we'll be admitting that we just have special privileges as nobles, and the law doesn't matter because we can pick to save people against the law or whatever.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That is it. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just try to keep it absolute. They want to make it feel absolute. Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Towards the end, I just love the joke of like after he does the balloon animal shit or whatever. It's like, well, what did he say? Like, well, we heard the bad guy's speech and we saved the old guy, so I guess we're done here.
So funny, bro. And then they're like, no, we still got to deal with you, bro. Rules are rules. Those without magic don't get a say. That's just how our world operates, buddy. So your death sentence will be upheld. We'll be taken. I won't go.
Wait,
what? And then he shoves his feet in the ground. I won't go. Can't take me now, can ya?
Oh my fucking god!
Screaming,
really
bro.
Just trying him too. Like, you ain't gonna do nothing now. Like, what's up? Like,
do something, bitch.
You gonna do?
And Buddy just looks shook in the bottom, the last panel. He said, "Bro, don't you see? I got this Renee gone, boy. I'm about to." Like, don't make me.
I got the Makima eyes on that, bro.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on me.
So I think that they all rush him next chapter, get folded back savage, and then say, "Okay, you can do whatever you want, I guess." I see you in class.
I feel like not all of them are gonna rush him. Like I feel like Rio might either help or just stand outside. Like, no, I'm not. I came here to stop this. What are you talking about?
I think the immortal dude is going to definitely like pull up on Mash and be like, "Big body hours, what you got for me?" And then he's gonna get sent through a wall. Then they're gonna try all their other magic on him, and they're gonna be like, I just want Mash to be like, "Are you done yet?"
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Pow, 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 tink, 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 tink. Are you done? Like, are you finished? Like, can we, like, what are we doing? What's next? You know what I mean? Like, I just want to see that.
Period. I just want to go home.
Because I would just love to see them make such a big deal about order, balance, the way things have been for so long, status quos, and then you think you're special, blah, 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 no exceptions. And then Mash just goes, well, like, what can you do if you can't kill me and I don't allow you to do anything? Well, guess we're changing our entire law system around Mash's overwhelming physical capabilities. You know what I mean? I would just love to see, like, a paradigm shift in this world based on their inability to execute their form of justice on Mash. I think that would be so funny.
It's gonna be hilarious. That's why I love watching. That's what, no, not watching, but reading Mashle, because it's like, it's like it's nothing cliche, but then it kind of do feel almost comedy cliche, but then it's just refreshing every time. Like, like you read it and you're like, okay, yeah, this is the laugh I needed this week. Like it feels good.
Imagine if MASH was like out for like world domination. They're so lucky this dude just wants to be a kid and like exist in this school. That's probably going to be like, I mean, we're still really early in the series, and I know that they're kind of like setting up like the antagonistic like vibe in this series to be like nobles and people with like high, potency, magic affinity, you know what I mean? Just based on like whatever they were born with, their noble classification, their line, whatever. It's all seemingly going to be magic based threats, but like what if like the real big bad of Mashle is just another person like Mash who's just as capable physically but wants to run the planet instead of just be Mash, you know what I mean?
And I honestly think that's what's gonna go.
Yeah, because I mean, like, who else makes sense as like a villain you can take seriously in this story? We've seen Mash evaporate regardless of, besides the headmaster who hit him with that like weird elaborate like puppet magic where he was under a buzzsaw or some shit, like in the beginning.
Drill or whatever.
Drill or whatever. Besides him, Mash has literally been able to no diff all of the magic he's experienced pretty much up until this point. So I mean, like, unless you really start like pulling in like fundamental like universal natures as far as like abilities, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we've already seen gravity. But I mean, like, if you start talking about like reality manipulation or reality warping, like I can see Mash not really being able to deal with that with physical strength alone.
And
but like
with the divine visionaries being added here, like it could be that finally we will see like a whole usual class of magic where like Mash really can't compete with the divine visionaries potentially. I do think that he's going to wash everyone or could wash everyone here. Just based on his overwhelming strength, the fact that it's kind of a gag manga to a large degree, right? But I think it is possible we do eventually get introduced like this level of magic that is out of Mash's league.
Right.
Hell yeah.
I think so too.
I really want there to be like a moment within Mashle where it's just like Mash is always a very comedic character unless you like flip his switch. I want him to get really serious, except within a position where he doesn't throw hands. He's just like, okay, you've thrown literally all of your heavyweight wizards my direction and they all come back with broken wands or broken limbs, so clearly nothing's working here. So can we please fix the situation? And then there's just more comedy just comes off of that one serious moment that Mash has.
It's gonna be that Caleb City video where it's like how fearless minions are in any video game, and it's like the minion that opens the door and sees the main character standing on a pile of corpses and just goes, "You're not getting through me." You know what I'm saying? Imagine that gag in Mashle.
Yes.
That should be hilarious.
I throw up laughing. Half of my guts would be on the floor because I'd be heaving.
Oh man.
Is there anything you guys got left on Mashle tonight?
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Just one little thing. Just like I noticed that like the symbols that they put near their names are also on the back of all their clokes.
Yeah. And I started to touch on that. I started to touch on that with the immortal guy, but then like never went in. But yes, that is so cool. How so you have for Retinus Revol, you have his line design is his crest.
Sure.
But Surata Hollowstone or Hailstone has the snow, but it's on her eye patch.
Yeah.
Oh shit. And then you have Caldo Gehenna. Sorry, I got the hiccup suddenly. But his line design is not the same as his crest, and you can't see anything else on his body with his.
I wanted to say that he might be like, since he's gonna be a fire mage, obviously, since his whole thing, like his whole symbol is fire, that the X represents like kind of like bonfire, like campfire.
Oh, the sticks.
Yeah.
Dude, that's cool. Because what did I say earlier? I think I said that his line design
either
represents
lasers
his combat style,
or
his
sword
style.
slashes.
Either he's got like laser beams that can like bzz, like a light show.
No,
or
I like the campfire.
I love the
icon
campfire
or whatever.
Idea. Yeah. Like with the sticks, man, the bonfire wood. That's so cool. So
and I wanted to say that him and my bad.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I want to say that him and Renatus have like a really good dynamic, because like as soon as he finishes talking, it's like someone's feeling loud. Like, you talking to me? Like, bro.
they're probably like if they're arguing, if they're bickering, right? Because like, where do you see that on what page?
Like it's like when you go through their like introduction. What page is that?
So page six, Caldo says like someone's being noisy, and top of page 7, dude's like, "You talking?"
Oh
down to
yeah,
me?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Who else could I be talking down to?
Yeah. Okay. So they're probably like
literally a
Zoro
whole
and Sanji, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably like they probably attack you like together, like who can knock them out first type shit. You know what I mean? Like, man, I want to see this divine visionary group get fleshed out in a way like where you see them chilling in ways that aren't necessarily only for the movement of the plot, because like right now obviously they're being introduced as, you know, like law enforcers. They're here to carry out an execution, you know what I mean? Like obviously their relevance in this scene is to carry out a certain plot driving event. But like I love when organizations or groups of characters inside of manga are shown in ways that are really just for the characters themselves and not so much they're only here when the plot needs to move forward, even though like, they're obviously like a very big plot related group. You know what I mean? But I would just love to see them just chilling in ways that flesh out their character, their dynamic, their atmosphere inside of their specific group, so that whenever they do interact in ways that move the plot forward, it hits that much harder because of how much we know about them. You know what I mean? So I just love getting deeper looks into groups that don't feel as important as the main cast. You know what I mean?
Right.
So would love to see them fleshed out a little bit more in that regard. But other than that,
Yep.
I think I'm good on Mashle.
Yeah, I'm good on Mashle.
Same.
Okay, getting into Black Clover, chapter 273, Day of Destiny. How do you guys feel?
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
I actually like this chapter.
I loved this.
Yeah.
I personally loved this chapter just because I didn't know that I was waiting for like Spade, like to see what it was like in the inner workings of the Spade side of things. You know what I mean? Like now that I see this chapter, I'm like, yeah, give me Spade characters interacting with other people in their faction that aren't triad members, you know what I mean? That aren't the three triad members, you know what I mean? Because we've only really seen them. Yeah.
Especially given that they're Diamond Kingdom people, right? And like, I want to say that like all these TV screens and wires and shit, this must be Diamond Kingdom tech, right? Like,
it's gotta be.
Yeah. Like, at least that's the vibe I get. Like that he's run this like scientist dude Morris is like running everything.
Yeah.
Like I imagine
he brought this stuff here.
Yeah, he brought this from Diamond Kingdom. Because since every kingdom has like their own like specialty, right?
And Diamond is technology, isn't it?
I
Are they the ones doing
like,
the experiments or whatever on people?
They
like,
were combining multiple magic types into a single.
I remember they were like the hidden mist of Black Clover, where they were just like doing crazy stuff just to try and get stronger.
Yeah, because that's where old girl with the jelly magic comes from, right? The one that's like obsessed with experimenting on Asta because of his anti-magic, right? The chick with the glasses.
So. I think
who
it's
has
her,
like the jelly
Mars,
salamander. Yeah. Right.
I can't remember who else was from, because I barely remember this like Lotus man, to be honest. Like I can't remember if like we've seen Morris before. I think he's new.
I think Morris is brand new.
Yeah, Lotus we've seen before.
Lotus I think we've seen. I think Morris is brand new. And you want to know what? Lotus has the same like facial hair like path as Yami. Like, but his like chin hairs are more grown out and his mustache is more grown out. But like they have like, especially seeing Lotus on the bottom right panel of page 4 and then Yami's like jawline on the top of page 5. It's like those are the same exact, you know, like he just feels like, you know what I mean?
Right, but then go back a page, look at Dante. Same exact facial hair on Dante as well.
And I was saying that Dante could be like related to Yami, not like directly, but maybe from like the same area of the world. You know what I mean? Like we never know, because Yami obviously comes from like Black Clover's Japan. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? You never, and I know that like Dante, we're supposed to believe he's from Spade, but I don't think that we've actually gotten hard confirmation on that, even though like he's like the Spade guy. You know what I mean? So I can totally see it being a situation, because eventually we're going to get Yami's origins fleshed out, and we're going to know where he comes from. We're going to know of any other characters that come from that place. You know what I mean? And just the fact that Dante and this Lotus dude specifically just looks so. I think the chapter that the Triad were introduced either Kiko or someone. I think we all thought the same thing, and maybe just Kiko said it first. He was like, "This looks like Yami inside of Dante's character." You know what I mean? So that'd be crazy.
Yeah, we'll see for sure.
That'd be nuts.
I don't think we've gotten like any confirmation from like any character that they're like. I mean, aside from like I want to say a couple Spade Kingdom and like Diamond Kingdom, which is like, yeah, we're from here, not just like, oh yeah, we live here. We have a strong sense of nationality. It's just like, we like. I don't think I've ever seen anybody say, oh yeah, we're from here. Like Yami's really kind of the only one who came out as just said, yeah, I'm from straight up somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
And on the same page with Lotus, this is the monster that the first Hokage fought, right? Or the first that the first Wizard King fought in the Elf arc flashback, isn't it?
Is it? No.
Is it? I thought that was the big skeleton in the Clover Kingdom.
But it definitely looks similar.
No, if you go back to hold on, you want to know what? I'm gonna try.
We can just drop by chapter 1 real quick.
Elf arc Wizard King battle. Manga.
while you're looking that
while
up,
I look for this, you guys should
the interesting thing that I got from this panel on page 4 of this large demon or whatever, it looks to me like the demon is crossing whatever plane they're behind, right? So if you look at their like face, it's kind of like behind this like ice or some sort of barrier, but the hand looks like it's coming out of the barrier. And
so this is like Dante's like Giganto Machia, basically, right? You can assume, right? He's gonna talk to this thing and tell him to attack everybody.
But isn't this just the first level of demon, right? Weren't they saying like, oh, this in this whole ritual thing, like eventually we're going to start removing each of the gates, like 7 gates in between the human world and the other world. This could just be the first one, and then the first demon that they got to fight is this one or whatever.
It does look really similar to the first demon that.
Bro, I swear to God, this is the demon that the Wizard King fights in that Elf arc flashback, bro.
Horns with the 2 eyes and the one in the forehead. The nose and the teeth kind of match up.
But what is the big skull then in the Clover Kingdom? Isn't that what we're talking about?
Oh,
I was saying the same type of entity. I was thinking you were saying type.
No. I said specifically it's the exact same thing. But I forgot that skull in Black Clover
is stuck there.
That
I don't think they could just
Island,
airlift that.
I think that is that demon, right? You're right. You're right. You're totally right. Whoops. But it does look a lot like that. I totally thought that was it. I'm like remembering that beautiful like double page spread of the first Wizard King fighting that demon. And that was the first time where I was really like, holy shit, Black Clover art is something else. You know what I mean? So I have that demon's face like vividly painted. You know, in my mind, I feel like he looks really similar. But I love the art on the bottom of page 5 with all of these branches coming out and all of the different textures. There's no hard line work anywhere. It's just like shading,
like just movement. What does it remind me of? I feel like it reminds me of something, but I can't think of what it is.
I feel like we've seen illustration techniques like this in like Berserk. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
Berserk,
where there's no line work, just shading. You know, following a certain shape. You know what I mean? Like,
And that brings up a question that I've been thinking about since I read this chapter. Is like, is William making these branches, or is this like the branches that are coming from like the underworld?
Right, that's what I wanted to know too. That was the same question that I had, because we know that Yami is obviously in this tombstone, looking, and his head is William, exposed, we can assume he's looking at William. And so since they need his world tree magic and his darkness magic, it makes sense that they're invoking the tree branches.
Is what we're seeing a darkness tree? You know what I mean? Like it's like tree branches, root-esque, and then it's also dark. I don't know. Like it could be that their magic's being forcibly extracted and used and combined here. Potentially.
Love that.
And
love
then
that
we go into Asta versus Noct,
and he's coming out of the Union form, so we don't even get to fucking see it. I understand why, because Tabata obviously wants to show that in like a really hype moment in the actual final conflict. You know what I mean? But it was just like so like, God damn it, you motherfucker! I was so ready to start this chapter seeing what that form looked like. Get
some feats though. We get it undoes Mana Zone. Slash in this form. He undoes Mana Zone. He undoes. He can counter a magic without substance. right?
Yeah.
So he commented like, my magic is just like a zone, like even without mana zone, like the darkness itself is just like this ephemeral thing or whatever that like, what would you hit if you had an anti-magic sword? Doesn't matter. Like Asta can now area of effect, dispel magic or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that anti-magic radiation type going on. Like,
Man.
I don't even know what to really call. I mean, that's really all I can call it right now, since it's like not touching anything, but it's still affecting it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that we're going to see, so like people with mana in Black Clover going into this arc learned about runes and true magic. I feel like we're going to see that on the anti side of things. We're going to see Asta and Libe in their union form. We're going to see black magic runes. We're going to get text that says true anti-magic. We're going to get all of this shit inside of this like union form. That's what I want to see. I'm not saying for sure we'll see that, but like this is obviously speculation on my part, but like that's just I can totally see Tabata as a hype driver, you know what I'm saying, going Asta gets runes too. This is what it looks like on the anti-magic side of things. Oh yeah, Luck has true lightning magic, true anti-magic. Like that's gonna be so hype. I feel like if we get that.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen for sure.
Yeah. I feel like that's gonna bring up so much contention again. Like, oh, is it magic again?
That's what I was thinking. Like, didn't we get confirmation, like explicit confirmation, that Asta does not have magic? It's still like anti-magic is not a type of magic. It's a totally different power system. So then, if that's true, then I feel like you wouldn't get runes and true anti-magic because those are magic type things.
Well, I'm just saying true anti-magic in regard to like the perfect union between him and Libe, right? Sure. So like obviously the anti-magic potency has been effective up to a certain point until now. This chapter lets us know that the anti-magic can go beyond what we've seen in regard to its potency, and now it can cut through mana zones. It can cut things without substance. We've never seen Asta do that before, so this is obviously a new level of anti-magic that we haven't seen. So if we're getting new levels of anti-magic, it makes sense that we could see a true anti-magic title on the page. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
That's basically what I'm saying. And then as far as runes go, yes, runes are associated with magic, so if anti-magic gets runes, that would make it like weird. But I feel like runes could be explained by Tabata as something that are all-encompassing for all of the energies in the world, regardless of what they do. So Ki gets runes. Anti-magic gets runes. Regular magic gets runes. Like any kind of extra dimensional energy of any kind that anyone can use in this series has runes related to them. I could see it like that. But yeah, the
other huge aspect of Asta's new abilities, obviously, is that he can also forcibly undo devil unions, which is immense or whatever. I mean, like I feel like now he's just gonna watch these people, right?
Yeah, it's you're just the one shot god now. Like
and I think it's going to get to a point to where his aura itself, like you guys were saying, is going to be an anti-magic aura.
Yeah, you can't even be around him.
It leans a little weird where you're like, then what exactly is his anti-magic? And I hope Tabata like gives us more, and I know that's a long hope, I'll be honest, but I'm hoping he dives more into what exactly is this anti-magic substance. Like, where's this coming from? What made this? Why does it exist? You know, like you have to give this to me. Like, you can't just tell me this whole series that it's just anti-magic. Like,
I agree with you, Doncho. We need hard exposition on all of the confusing concepts inside of Black Clover. Like, not just like things that like there's probably a lot of things that we can learn just from going back through the series and rereading it. You know what I mean? But like anti-magic and Ki are two things that I specifically, personally, really feel like I need from Black Clover. You know what I mean? Like those are the two vague concepts that I just absolutely need hard confirmation for. Everything else, I don't give a fuck what else is vague in this story, dog. But please explain anti-magic and Ki to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could just be like, oh yeah, anti-magic is just the leftover farts from all the devils in like the underworld. Who cares? Like, as long as we get some kind of exposition.
Right. I need something.
Yeah. Leftover farts, I'm screaming. I think it's really cool how Noct says, okay, so you did the thing. This is great. This is awesome. You're still not ready. So since this time to get ready has been annoying to us on this show, like throughout multiple chapters of reviews. We're like, okay, This is really cool. This is an awesome training sequence. I still don't see how this makes them ready in 2-3 days.
Yeah.
But Nocta's going, okay, the hardest part is over. Now I'm just going to leave Gimodello with you, and you can train with him until you've mastered it, and then you can meet us on the battlefield. So Tabata is specifically addressing how unrealistic it is to make Asta ready in such a short amount of time. But then also at the very end of this chapter, everyone of the captains is ready to go into the fray. So if Asta, who's getting like an expedited training process, still isn't ready and needs to be left with Gimodello, then that's basically telling me that these motherfuckers are getting washed right away as soon as the conflict starts. Like,
or I think a very likely thing that'll happen is that the captains will be able to beat like the first devil, maybe the second devil, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then we'll quickly realize like, okay, now these devils are getting way too powerful. It's going to be a huge battle, and then Asta will come in and you know save the day or whatever, right?
Yeah. Or at least shift the tide in a way that, you know, gives us a little bit of hope again before Tabata shifts the tide again. You know what I mean? I'm assuming there will be a couple different tide shifts throughout the course of this battle, because I don't think that Tabata has a way to make the conflict compelling without it just being, now we have an advantage, now you have an advantage, now we have an advantage. So I can definitely see it, you know, like going, you know, in exactly how you said, Nick. I can totally see that. This last double spread though, oh my God, is this one of the best drawings I've ever seen Tabata do?
I've been waiting for this since I just started reading Blood.
I swear to God.
I hate their little choir boy robes that they have to wear to every meeting. It's so ugly. And now we got this new drip with the fur on the coat.
Crazy tight right now, bro. The texture,
I love it.
The texture that Tabata gave them, you could tell that this is like a layer. You know what I'm saying? That he just applied like a certain texture to. So like if this was the editing software, you could grab this layer and like move the texture around, and you could see it move on everyone's character designs. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like a flat layer that he's added depth to, like in other layers on top of that. It doesn't look specifically drawn in that way. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but I love it. I love it aesthetically. Basically, it's a different kind of it's a different kind of feature of whatever the tablet program, you know, that he's using is that we've seen in the story so far. I feel like this is a wholly new illustration technique that Tabata is showing us here. And I just love these robes, bro. Everyone looks so gangster, bro.
I just noticed this.
Yeah.
If you look at everybody, that's not that's not Charlotte, that's not Jack, and that's not Fuego Leon. All of them have white fur around the collar, except those three have black fur.
Oh, wait, no. Buddy behind Jack has it too.
Oh yeah, the coward.
Who is that? That's Buddy with the see-through magic, ain't it?
With the bronze magic.
The bronze magic.
Yeah,
that's Seke? That's dude that Asta whoops in like chapter 1?
Yeah, and he literally someone was saying in the Discord, in our Discord, people were just saying that in the anime he was just canonically made, I think, a vice captain of whatever team he's on. So he's in the Green Mantis.
Interesting.
Why does he have black fur? He's a bitch.
You know what I wanted to know? Who the fuck is next to
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out earlier.
Oh,
Is it Langris? Isn't it Langris?
Oh, yeah, it would probably
right
have to be
Langris.
Oh, no, Langris is...
Oh, to the right.
Yeah, Langris
the one that's like peeking out the corner.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you only see his shoulder coming out the side of the panel. Yeah. Dude, I wish this spread was one panel. Why did Tabata split this?
Like, why? What's with the top? I don't understand what the two top panels are really. I guess to show where they're at. But
yeah, like we know where they at, fam. I read the last couple of chapters. G, give them the whole page.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I
just feel like that top was unnecessary.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
Just low detail, like outward panel shots of the landscape, like before
I can kind of assume where they at, bro.
We just saw where they was at, like
right. I can assume where they at, bro.
Like you could have shoved in like an extra panel on this second to last page, like a little flash for like, okay, morning after. Now we got this new drip. Here you go.
Yeah.
He should have gave them their whole page.
I swear he should have gave them the whole page, man. I want that to be my background on my computer.
See, he would never let his fans eat properly. I swear.
Come on, Thompson, man. I'm hungry, man.
Man, they never let us eat properly.
Did we talk about everything we needed? I don't think we talked about everything we need to talk about in this.
I feel like I just want to bring up that the little devils are so cute.
Yes, fam.
Oh
my god.
Guillermo del Toro, like if he hits me with that, I'm going to die. And you just see the little devil in the background, just patting him on the back.
Yeah, he's like, hey man, sorry, Guillermo del Toro, but
there is
game over.
There is one larger point we didn't cover yet. That M.A.N.G.A basically said that using shadow magic, he's been spying on the Black Bulls all this time, almost Asta's entire career. He because he even says like you were born without magic, by accident you were possessed by a devil. Wait, like what do you mean? Are you saying that as if you literally saw it happen? Like you were spying on him?
That's
even
what
before
confused me.
He joined the Black Bulls.
Get into it too much and seem like an asshole about it because I felt like maybe I was reading too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna let it go.
Exactly. That's so weird coming out of the "I've been watching you" dialogue that he starts talking about events in Asta's life from like the moment he was born.
Right. I think how it came off to me is that like he's just stating those as facts, right? Like he wasn't spying on him at that time
for those moments,
but he does know them as facts, and then later, he did spy on him after that. But like, you know, I have been spying on you and I know all about you for the record, kind of thing.
Thank you for explaining it that way, because I'm sitting here going like, hold on, man.
Like, come on, man.
I was coming from, so I was like, I'm not even going to really bring it up because I felt like it was like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, okay,
right?
Yeah,
that's weird.
And as disappointed as I said I would be if the Libe and Asta situation ended up working out the way that it has canonically in the story, as far as we know now. The whole, and this was back when I was like really hardcore going like, okay, well, Jujutsu Kaisen did it this way with Sukuna, so therefore Black Clover sucks because they didn't do it this way with Libe and Asta. But then I was like, well, no, because it's fine for the story of Black Clover that Libe is behaving this way with Asta, and I should probably not like take what I want and what I like from other series and like project that onto like my opinion of Black Clover. So like since then I've been like, okay, it's fine that they like fist bumped and shook up and now they're like best friends. Like that's cool. I would have preferred it a different way, but Tabata is executing it honestly in a way that's like really comfortable to me. And I didn't think that I would like say, because I talked a lot of shit. I was like, man, I swear to God, if this anti-magic devil shakes up with Asta, I'm dropping the book. Like I said, like all types of shit, you know what I'm saying? But like now that I'm like seeing it, you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like they just think about it.
I like Libe and Asta's relationship now, in just a couple chapters of them interacting as, partners. It feels really good. Like it feels like, even though this was a lazier approach, in my opinion, storytelling wise, Tabata, kind of like how you could tell that Gege really had a really good idea on how the Sukuna and Yuji relationship was going to work, subverting the expectations of the demon living inside of the main character trope that we've experienced so far in history. I feel like Gege did a really good job of taking that expectation and subverting it and doing it in their own way. Tabata, on the other hand, did it the exact opposite. I feel like he had a really good plan of how he was going to show their positive relationship inside of their union. You know what I mean? And you could tell that this is very much so like not like, and nothing, I shouldn't say that anything is on the fly. I know that Tabata doesn't write this story week to week, you know what I mean? But like this specific aspect of Libe and Asta's relationship just feels like it was something Tabata's been wanting to show us for a while. And that feels really good. That it feels that way, that he has a very clear plan on how he wants to write this relationship. It's not just going to be Asta and Libe come together, form a partnership, and now it's just final form Asta. There's still a lot of growth related to them like realizing their maximum potential. It's going to feel very organic because of how, at least in my opinion, I feel like it's going to be a very organic progression up until that final form moment. And I just respect Tabata as an author for having a very clear vision on how he wanted to deliver such a originally annoying trope to a lot of people. You know what I mean? So
I think Notch is a good balancer to it too.
Yeah.
Like I honestly think he comes in and like the way Tabata right Notch, he does a good job of balancing out that trope and balancing out that organic relationship being formed. I was somebody who wasn't really a fan of his introduction at first. Like it kind of felt
Same.
off for me, you know. And still I do kind of feel like it's a little off, but I think Tabata is making it work in his story right now. So I can take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like I can say for personally, I'm absolutely loving Nox's character, especially like in
Yes.
this chapter. Like, I hated the way he was introduced. I was like, oh man, another like as another like,
Edgy
out of nowhere,
douchebag out of nowhere,
coming out of nowhere,
like-
just coming to help us the power up. Like, no, okay,
Yeah.
he's literally like the opposite of everything the Black Bulls stand for.
Yeah.
And he's still going to train Asta. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
throughout this entire chapter, you see his interactions with Asta and how he's like, okay, yeah, I said that people who are right don't always get rewarded, but I want that to happen. Like,
Yeah.
I really,
Right.
I think that you're a nice kid, and I want to see you do the best that you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get a smile, and that's
Yeah.
something that you don't really see from that's not like ominous or like kind of creepy.
Yes,
kinda
just a genuine
snake-ish.
grin. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Shooty, because Nox's character, every time he's shown any kind of positive demeanor of any kind, it's always had an underhanded undertone attached to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Where you could tell that he's kind of like up to something more. He maybe is outwardly showing you something different than what he feels. But in this one grin panel right here on page 12,
Yeah.
after he says, I would like them to be, and Asta's like, Vice Captain Noct, and he kind of hits that grin, you could tell that he genuinely is feeling that emotion right
Yeah.
there in that panel. And I
Mhm.
love how Tabata did such a good job of characterizing Noct in a way that we weren't supposed to ever be able to be positive of what this person is thinking or feeling. And then Tabata shows him, you know, wear his emotions on his sleeve like this, you know what I mean, in these last couple of chapters. And it just hits so hard because of his initial characterization, in my opinion. I feel
Right.
like Tabata executed that brilliantly. And as far as like Noct's initial introduction, I want to like you guys are saying that you were disappointed in it. I want to say that I was disappointed in it too, but I just thought that it was so cool that we got like 15, 20, 25 chapters prior to his introduction, that subtle chapter where it shows a shadowy
that was
figure sneaking
awesome.
through,
Yeah,
you know what I
right.
mean, the Spade Kingdom. So we're like, okay, we know a guy is there. 20-ish chapters later, we finally get the guy. We found out that he was foreshadowed even farther back than that subterfuge chapter. So that was like really cool as far as execution goes. When his character was first introduced, I was like disappointed with his original characterization because I thought that he was just going to be the guy that's like, the Black Bulls suck. You guys have been Black Bull fans this whole time. Everything's been like, hell yeah, Black Bulls. No, I think that they are terrible. I think that your captain is a shitty person, and I'm just here to exist as someone who goes against everything you've been comfortable with the entire series. I thought that that was the entire purpose of his character. I thought that he was literally just there to be a dick until Asta showed him, you don't have to be a dick. And then he would go, I'm not a dick anymore. That's what I thought his character was going to be. But no, there's a lot more depth related to his outlook than we thought. Like I said, we thought he was just going to be an edgy guy who was just the opposite of everything we've understood about the Black Bulls up until now, and that was his whole purpose. No, that is his purpose. He's definitely shown to be that way to the characters and us, but there's reasons why he's that way other than just his personality quirk being oppositional. You know what I mean? Like, and I can't wait to find out more about Noct, because we've been speculating, especially with that flashback panel that we got of him talking to a person who's obviously very close to him in his life. I think we speculated it was his brother last week. I can't remember in that last chapter, but he's obviously got history as to why he's like this in a way that makes sense to his character other than just being a plot, you know, relevant character that's supposed to go against everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's really cool. Sorry, that was really long-winded. But
No,
I
like
hope it made sense. But
They definitely did. Yeah.
It definitely did.
okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm good on Black Clover. Did you guys have anything else you guys wanted to talk about tonight?
No, I'm good too.
Yeah, I think I'm good on Black Clover. I think we covered everything that we could.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Getting into My Hero Academia, chapter 292, Threads of Hope.
Perfect title for
Perfect
our
title.
Perfect title.
huge amount of best genus clothing puns we get in this chapter. Amazing.
Perfect title, perfect opening, to the chapter.
Yeah,
Literally.
for sure. And I love Best Genus effectiveness in the beginning of the fight here, and just like this double page spread with the threads woven into the paneling.
Yes.
Come on, Kohei.
So
Come on,
cool.
Kohei.
Gorgeous.
Come on now with the full body Best Jeanist render. I can't wait to cut that out and use that somewhere. I swear to God, that Best Jeanist pose is amazing. And I love how it shows him like struggling with his like psionic control over the threads as Gigantomachia starts starting to break through it. I was very curious as to the limits of his fiber control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now we're seeing that once he starts straining himself, it's kind of like we know that quirks are like muscles, but like you can really feel like, you know, like he's holding a bunch of threads in his hands, and they're like trying to rip themselves out of his hand. Like imagine how that feels when like things are being ripped in multiple directions out of your hands. Like that probably hurts.
Bleeding from just holding Gigantomachia as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like it's hard to notice because, you know, Best Jeanist basically wears a mask. But like, if you just notice that little panel where it says drip, like you can kind of see that little bit
of
nosebleed.
Yeah.
Yep. I got big like a psychic vibe from it, right? Like say Tatsumaki, like a psychic, like using their psychic telekinesis like too much, you know what I mean? That probably is what it is at the end of the day for Best Jeanist, like as like a mental connection to fibers or whatever.
Right.
So he's just like using it so much. Like I love that nosebleed when a character like use their power too much.
Yeah,
so
it's
sick.
very like Jean Grey. It's very like 11 from Stranger Things. It's very, you know what I'm saying? Any kind of like psio or psychokinetic like you know, character sort of that was, or psionic control or telepathic control character or telekinesis that we've seen. Once they start straining themselves, since it is a brain related like issue, you see that leakage, you know, coming from that point of origin there inside of the nose. I just love that representation personally, until Shindy pointed it out. Even though it says big and bold right there, drip, I did not notice his nose bleeding when I first read through this, but that makes perfect sense because I'm so focused on his hands shaking. You know what I mean? And like feeling, because it definitely probably is more so a mental thing where he's like bleeding from his nose because his brain is overloaded. But also, I want to say that there's a physical element to it as well.
Oh yeah,
obviously because
his hands are shaking.
Oh yeah, his hands. But like you could equate his hands shaking to just like mental instability of like the pressure of the control that he's having, like wavering and like.
I think it's all related.
It is all related. I think that it's
all of it's related.
I think that he's definitely having very much a physical and psychological reaction to it, or mental.
Nox reads that panel and goes like, "Yes, Best Jeanist is looking clean. Yes, correct. Very fashionable. Moving on."
But dude, and then the paneling in this chapter like continues to be crazy even after that thread paneling page, because then you go into like pages 6 and 7, and you have like the paneling around Dabi looking like flames and shit.
I love that panel.
Yeah, I love this is crazy right now.
Yo, also, Hado.
Yeah, Hado Nejire gets blasted.
Man, Hado got Maki'd. I'm so upset about that.
No, don't say Maki'd, you bitch.
She got Maki'd.
She did get Maki, but I didn't want to think about Maki right now.
And then like in like the fourth panel, like where Best Jeanist is like coughing and like stop giving excuses, stop looking for excuses. His eyes are bleeding. He's really struggling to hold Gigantomachia in one spot.
Yeah.
Yo, you're totally right. I did not notice the eyes bleeding.
I didn't notice the eyes either.
And you gotta remember, this is a tired one, to a tired Makia. Like this isn't like a full strength. His like, you know, what's his name? Lizard dude pointed it out. Like my man is like out of breath already. Like
and
after just getting here. So the fact I'm pretty Genius is struggling like that right now is like, oh shit.
Right. I'm pretty sure also Gecko mentioned here that Gigantomachia has a cold. On the top of page 5, he's like, he's been out of breath since we made it here, and just after executing the last command, he got ... And look at the bubble of Gigantomachia in that panel or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that sound effect on the left is kashu.
Yeah.
Like he sneezed.
He sneezed. Oh my god.
So I think he's sick. I think he has a cold or something.
What if they weren't trying to knock him out? They were just trying to get him sick so they can weaken his quirk for some reason.
Or maybe they thought he was going to knock him out, but all it did was make him sick.
Sure.
Wow,
yeah.
That's so disheartening on the hero's end. Because like, bro, we just tried knocking you out and we just gave you a cold?
No.
Oh, man, I'm packing it up.
Yo, I didn't
ugly.
even. That's so cool, Nick. I didn't even fucking notice that, dude. That's so
Yeah, I really-
awesome.
I think that's what it's implying. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Because, yeah, what else is Gigantomachia doing here in this panel besides sneezing?
Right.
Man,
I don't know.
Because even like the zoo is like the load up to the sneeze.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. The katakana like on the right
Yeah,
side behind
yeah.
Gigantomachia's
Sure,
head
sure.
is like
Yeah.
with the dot, and then it's
Sure.
gashu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Wow.
That's lit.
Yeah. That's so
But-
fucking awesome. I didn't even see, dude. Nick, you always fucking notice the really cool katakana stuff.
I'm telling you.
Like, I swear to God. And then, like, you say it, and I'm like,
Oh.
And then it reminds me, and I'm like, dude, that's totally right.
Mhm.
That's so fucking awesome. Okay,
But-
so
Going
Seeing
back to this
Best
Hado
Gina
thing,
stand-
man.
what'd you say, Doncho?
I was saying, seeing Best Gina stand on the thread while still trying to hold Makia just was such a cool fucking page.
Yes, bro.
It
Like,
really
just
is.
like him standing there, still pulling down like the whole page with the stress.
Yeah.
It just really puts you in perspective of what is going on right now. You know?
Yeah. I didn't even realize that Bass Genus was standing on like a tightrope this entire
Yeah.
time. Like you could see it in the double spread, but what took my eye away from the like zoomed out panel that
Oh,
shows
yo,
him on the thread was like the paneling illustration and just like his overall like full body render. So like I
Right.
didn't see him actually like standing on the thread, and it looks like he actually lands on the thread like in that moment on page 2, because there's like
Mhm.
there's like an illustration effect that like shows impact right there. So I could see it like that's clearly showing him like landing on the thread after using
Oh,
his
sure.
ability.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
boing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
boing, boing, boing,
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
exactly. And then we see him standing on it again
Page 12.
12.
on
Yeah.
page 12. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's
Oh,
raw.
sick.
It's sick.
I did not
That's
notice that.
so raw, bro.
Man,
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he like obviously like he has like you don't think balance is associated with his quirk, but like if he has psionic control, then like he has psionic control over his position on the thread. Like he could
Right.
probably make himself balance no matter how he's positioned on a thread because
Sure.
of his like telekinetic control over
Yeah.
them in relation to his body. So like he
Yeah,
can
he just
always
moved
make
the thread under him.
yeah,
at
yeah,
any
or
time,
he can
yeah.
just always make sure that his center of gravity is like is right with the thread. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
That's
something like that for
fucking
sure.
Cool as shit,
Yeah, yeah.
bro. to think
Right?
about.
man, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm disappointed as hell in this whole Hado situation because, like, I know we just got Uraraka versus Toga, and that
Yeah.
was fine and all. I feel like it was a
Mhm.
little out of place, depending,
Yep.
like, just because of, like where we're at and like not
Yeah.
the story, but like just in this arc right now. I suppose.
The scale is
Like-
totally different, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
it
scale
was
of this
so
huge
different.
war
Yeah.
versus Uraraka versus Toga. Okay,
Yeah,
a
it
little bigger
definitely
battle.
felt, even though I'm sure there's more there, it
Yeah.
felt to me in the moment that Kohei was like, I should give Uraraka a fight here, and like
Yeah.
Toga's not really
Yeah.
doing anything. Like we should do something with these characters, or maybe editorial was like, "Can you do Uraraka and Toga stuff? Like what are you
What's
doing?" Like
going
I
on?
don't
It's
know
kinda
what the
here,
conversation was
like-
like. Yeah, exactly. But it definitely did feel kind of out of place, even though there's history there with their two characters. So it's definitely not like just entirely arbitrary that they fought there, but like it definitely did feel kind of like jarring
Mhm.
compared to the overall like scope and like tension and like vibe of the arc like before
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
And then
Yeah.
like seeing all of that, and even though the tension was still like kind of awkward, like for the placement, it was like, okay, we get this cool action scene between two women. You barely get to see any like action scene between two women within like My
Mhm.
Hero.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then we get Hado, who is like a third year, just like Mirio,
Yeah.
and just like Sun Eater, like
yeah.
and like she gets one shot by
She
Dabi,
was
and now
just
she's
starting
Yeah.
to go into like last chapter we were
Yeah,
talking about her.
she
You're like
was.
Nejire is finally
and
activating
she's
in
about
like a
to turn
cold-blooded
up,
ass way.
and then
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah, and then you see
Dude.
Burnin here. We haven't seen anything that Burnin can do, but she just gets one panel of her with her using her abilities, but like running away. You know what I mean? It's like,
And
like-
getting saved.
yeah, and getting saved. You know what I mean? So I mean, like, you know, Kohei snaps on Mirko. Obviously, we can't deny that that's like the most badass female representation we've gotten in the series so far. At least in my opinion, that Mirko scene was crazy. But like, other than that, I have been someone that has kind of been complaining about like the
Yeah.
female situation inside of My Hero Academia,
Mhm.
and up until that Mirko moment, I was like, okay, Kohei, like, when are you gonna do cool girl stuff? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and then he gave us Mirko, and I was like, okay, obviously he had it waiting. He was just waiting to
Yeah.
give it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna stop complaining now and just wait to see what Kohei does. But then you get chapters like this where you're like, why?
Why?
Like Hado? Like really?
Yeah.
Right, like of all people, Hado, like the chick who's supposed to be on par with Sun Eater and Lemillion.
Yeah.
Her?
Like, come on, dog. Tamaki has had amazing moments in this series. Mirio, undisputed GOAT of like the overhaul arc. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hado, what have you done besides be there in the same echelon, apparently?
Yeah, like
supposedly.
be pretty.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't want to harp on Kohei because I know that he has great female character writing in his bag, but I'm just wondering why he's not using it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like it's right there in front of you. You just keep going left every time it hits that stage. And maybe it's like the same thing with Kishimoto, where he said like, "I don't know how to write women," and that's okay.
Kohei knows how to write women, and he has written women really well. But I just feel like he's really sparing with it for some reason. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's an editorial thing. It doesn't feel like it's what Kishimoto wants to do, because when he shows us what he can do with his female characters, it's like, okay, obviously you know what you're doing here, but like it's just so few and far between that it's like why don't you want them in, like why don't you want this for your series?
You got all these hard body women with all these hard body quirks, and then they're just relegated to commercials and fashion pageants and whatever. It's like, okay, I mean, I guess, but
it's like, come on, man, you can do, like, we know you got this, bro. Like now like, because of the history of the series, I'm just gonna throw the complaint out there. I'm not gonna make a big deal. I'm just gonna let it be known that I feel this way. But in the back of my head, I'm gonna be like, Kohei's gonna clean that up. You know what I mean? Like I'm so confident that Kohei is gonna bring that back around in a comfortable way later. But like in the moment, it's just like, why are you hoeing Nejire like this? You know what I mean? Like that's
so hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
God, I just keep looking at this Dobby panel. It's so
it's really good.
So sick.
Let's move. Hold on. So that Dobby panel is cold-blooded, but I just accidentally like tabbed over to the next double spread after that with Shigaraki's face on fucking pages 8 and 9, and like I'm looking at it and I'm like, not only is this drawn incredibly well, like you could literally like zoom in on any like 5 like square pixel like diameter and like see amazing drawing, but like his eyes, like look at his pupils, like his eyes are like one of them's like lazy, one of them's like type they're going in like different, like he looks like he's spent, bro. Up. Like
he has taken some damage.
Yeah. But I mean, like you could see a lot about like his potential mental state in his facial expression here too. Like he looks like he's just like barely a person anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Machia, he's going through it mentally. I don't even know if it's Shigaraki right now. To be honest with you. Like, I don't know who this is. It's like you're looking at this guy.
Because it really could be AFO or it could be Shigaraki, because he just says Machia destroy.
Yeah.
Well, I do think we do know it is Shigaraki for sure, because he says, "I must stop the itch."
When I say like I don't know who this is, I'm speaking to like basically metaphorically, like the way he's looking, he doesn't have that same exuberance that we see with Shigaraki that has. He's just like out of it, like literally out of it. Just know I want to stop this itch. I need Machia to destroy. That's all he can fathom right now. And I find that to just be amazing, like being done the way it is. Especially within the background, you have Dabi and Shoto going at it, and Dabi showing just how out of it he is. Like he's insane, which I always knew he was. But actually seeing him like, Shoto, like, what about Natsu? And he's like almost killed. What a shame. That really would have been
fuck Natsu.
And like as confident,
like he's like, dude, like I don't care about that. Like I'm trying to figure out what would destroy Endeavor. Like I could care less. You know?
Right.
And as confident as these really characters have been shown, like Dabi has obviously been like shown in a very in this arc, he's very confident. He's always got a grin on his face. He always knows what the next phase of the conflict is going to be, or at least it seems like he knows that this is all playing into his expectations and whatnot. You know what I mean? But still, even though these characters seem wildly confident in their preparations and their demeanor on the battlefield, this is still a very high stakes, high stress situation for everybody involved, regardless of the level of confidence on either side. So when you see it come down into these moments where Shoto is finally face to face with Toya is finally face to face with Endeavor. Obviously he's been waiting for this moment, but like this is probably affecting him in very significant ways psychologically, you know what I mean? And he's like, they clearly just look nuts, but like, man, bro, did Kohei write the shit out of these character interactions, because it's like you can tell so much. Like there is so much obvious things that you can tell from things. There's so much subtle, like beneath the surface things that you can find, like, you know, after intense analyzing of the chat. Like, there's something for all levels of fan here. There's something for the casuals. There's something for the fine-tooth combers. There's something for, you know what I'm saying, everybody inside of these reviews. And it's like, it's so crazy that Kohei can touch on all of these areas inside of one chapter so consistently from week to week. You know what I mean?
And I'll still say personally, and the reason I want to point this out is because I was seeing, you know, the exact opposite being said on Twitter today. Deku is still my highlight for this chapter.
Deku went crazy this chapter.
Yeah,
Deku
and when I say
crazy.
he's still my highlight because I love with my MCs when I can get a glimpse into my MC, and I don't think it's BS, right? Especially when it's a high stakes moment.
Yeah.
And we've always known Deku to be someone who puts other people first.
Right.
And I completely understand that Shoto just found out his brother is alive and has been out here killing people and is trying to set up his dad. But for Deku to say that Shoto is the one that is enduring the most pain, I don't think that's the truth at
Deku
all
is
right
a
now.
real hero
But
to
for
me for that.
Deku to see the emotional and psychological trauma that is supposed to be unfolding right now, and that is what his focus is at, speaks so many levels to me. You know,
that is such a good fucking point, Doncho.
You know,
Deku has clearly been through the fucking ringer this arc as the main body in between Shigaraki and everyone else. So he's got that on top of an over 100-year feud that he is smack dab in the middle of psychologically.
Yes.
Like, the weight of the world and then some is on this character's shoulders. And like, he just pushed his body
is my
farther
homie okay?
Yeah, and he's just pushed his body farther than any limit we've seen so far. And what he's thinking of is Shoto is going through more than anyone else here right now.
Literally.
When you are only standing because of sheer willpower alone. You know what I mean?
And him still yelling to himself, nobody's been saved yet. Like, I don't think people get, like, this is a real hero. This is this boy is in real pain, but he's thinking to himself, I don't see anyone safe yet. I can't stop moving. I can't stop fighting. And I think people always love to shit on Deku, but if they MC in a different series did this exact same thing, they'd be praising them to hell and back.
Exactly.
And it's very weird to me that, and personally, I think that Deku is too similar to the people that we see on Twitter, which is why they want to hate him so bad.
Dude, I say that shit all the time, dude. People who shit on Deku just don't like seeing themselves, literally, you know what I mean, inside of a main character who's showing very significant, like, confidence flaws and self-image flaws, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And people don't like being reminded of that inside of their MC. They want a power fantasy where they can look up to a macho main character that never wavers, always has the exact same convictions, never questions themselves, because they want to stop doing that themselves. Maybe it's like, dude, I'm constantly questioning myself. I'm insecure. I'm uncertain of a lot of things. I go to these shows so that I can see someone be the kind of person I feel like I can't be. You know what I mean? And then Deku is so relatable that it's like, wait a minute now, I'm crying? Why am I crying? Because he's, you know, like, this is a scene where Deku's talking about his depression. Why am I relating so much to, you know what I mean? Like, I can totally see people, like, wanting to run away from that kind of feeling that a main character gives them, you know what I mean? But, dude, you just made such a brilliant fucking point, dude. Like, Deku, like, this is almost like irrational because he's clearly saved. He's saved plenty people, but just like Deku doesn't feel like he's done anything at all because he hasn't saved everyone. He hasn't saved the whole day. He hasn't, like, he's not perfect, so therefore he thinks he's failing. And that is so cool to see from Deku right now, because it's just another example of Kohei never breaking Deku's character from the beginning. Like, he's changed a lot, but like, those initial characterizations of Deku, like showing what it means to be a hero, why All Might chose in the first place, the way that he reacted in the slime monster, you know, chapters with Bakugo when he saves Bakugo, all of those things about Deku are still there, just in a more refined shell. And I just love that Kohei doesn't forget that Deku is this kind of person ever.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And even ignoring pain, like him
Yeah.
saying to himself, my whip and my float should make my limbs that can't move a non-factor.
Mhm.
Right.
What? Like you know, like that's like he's really telling himself, oh, these limbs don't work. That's cool. I got quirks.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you got that's crazy to
And
me.
Yeah.
that's
That he's so young and he's thinking
wild.
like this.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, he can never use these arms again. I mean, maybe with like Eri, but like, dude, your arms are done. You have been hammering on that. You got told half a year ago that your arms would be done if you used them again 100%.
Yeah.
Cool. Now you're back smashing the hell out of Shigaraki in the middle of the sky, and now you're back on the ground
Yeah.
and saying, okay, my arms are definitely jelly. My my bones are dust. My blood is making my bone fragments pump through my body. I can still fight though.
Yeah.
Nobody's safe. Nobody's done.
Still got
I'm
more
not
to do.
leaving here till everybody has a good day.
Yeah. Wow.
Exactly.
And that is like, I don't know how Kohei does it, bro.
That's a hero.
Like this is what this
Period.
goes back to what I was saying about how there's something for everybody in this chapter. Like surface level readers will read this scene and go, shonen willpower and determination is getting Deku through this. But like the way that we just talked about it right now, especially the way that Dancho explained it, with how like self-sacrificing Deku is and how irrational his thought process is, that obvious like you have gone through all of this and you're gonna say Shoto is the one that's been through the most. Okay,
You
cool.
feel me? Like,
That's
come
crazy.
on.
You're a thug for that. But then to go, no one is safe. Plenty of people are alive because of you right now.
Right.
Like there have been, with you at the forefront of the rescue team, so many people you saved from Shigaraki's first wave of decay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just seeing him saying all of these things, you're like, that's not right, but that's so cool that you're saying it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that's just, man.
Exactly.
Man. And then, bro, can we talk about... Can we talk about the page turn after this fucking moment? Because Deku
Love it.
says, nobody's been saved yet. Don't be the old, worthless Deku who can't save anyone. I gotta cover Genis back. Page turn. Poop.
Right. Love it.
Dude,
Love it.
this was massive. And people have been complaining about this on the timeline. And you want to know what, dude?
I mean, obviously, that's a huge.
Yeah, people
Crazy
have been complaining
twist.
about it. It's a crazy twist, but you want to know what? It's been foreshadowed multiple times. You know what I mean?
It
So
has.
like I literally was just saying, there's something for everyone here: hardcore analysts and casual readers. For the casual reader who didn't pick up on the foreshadowing, this is a huge surprise for you, and that's going to get a very thorough explanation from Kohei after the chaos is over and the dust settles. For people who have noticed the foreshadowing up until this point, sure, we're going to get an explanation later, but we already know what happened here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Aries' porn has been growing since before this arc, since she was reintroduced back into the story after Overhaul with Mirio quirkless inside of the Christmas chapters. We have gotten so many hints that this was going to be a thing before this happened. So for the people that have been paying attention, been looking deeper beneath the surface inside of My Hero Academia, this is a huge hype moment that we knew was coming, but it's hype nonetheless. For the people who had no idea this was going to happen, they probably think this is kind of weird, but Kohei has not said any or done anything that makes you think that he's not going to thoroughly explain this phenomenon right now. So it's like, it's just perfect in my opinion.
Right. I wonder, do y'all think Lemillion was actually introduced in this chapter a little earlier than this reveal? Go back to page 11. He saved Burning.
Yep. He saved
Burning, they're fighting the Nomu. Burning is running away from this lamprey style Nomu, and this punch comes out of nowhere in the bottom, and Burning's like, what? And that was Lemillion punching that Nomu.
I didn't even.
Yep.
I saw that. I was trying to figure out like who.
I was trying to figure out what that was.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of.
Like, who is coming here to say?
Nick, I noticed that too. That's what I thought as well, Nick.
Hell yeah.
What the fuck?
And like I remember, and I saw that, I was like, but like, isn't this battlefield too far away for Lemillion to even really like show up? But I guess not, because like he's right there with the rest of the Nomu who dipped off. So it kind of has to be Lemillion.
And his movement speed is so much different than everyone else's too, because he can ignore matter for X amount of time. You know what I mean? He really just whoop, 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 whoop. You know what I mean? Imagine how quick it is for him to get from point A to point B, because he doesn't have things like friction and resistance to deal with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So So he can get places lickety split. And you want to know what, man, Nick, bro, you just fucking blew my mind with that because I had Kohei, man.
Kohei be snapping. And I just want to say my disclaimer too, where I think anybody who like is trying to use this to downplay Deku and boost Lemillion, you're missing the entire point of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
You know.
Though I do wonder now that Deku possibly will not be able to use his arms anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like he might be legit super injured after this arc. They might bring up the conversation again, like, well, Lemillion has his ability back.
Yeah.
Maybe we need a new successor, right? And obviously we know that won't happen since we know
that could be a conversation.
It could be a conversation. It could be another conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be
a
whole
even
conversation
if
between all the
Muriel
heroes.
didn't come back in this conflict and he was still quirkless, if Deku obliterated his arms and couldn't use anything anymore, we still could probably revisit this in the form of Deku going, Muriel, you don't have a quirk anymore. I just blew it. Here's one for all. You know what I mean? Like it could be a situation like that, but obviously Muriel does have his quirk back, so you know what I mean. But I could see it happening.
Then I feel like it's double argument that will be a conversation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if it could have come up without Lemillion even appearing, then him coming up now is like, okay, they're definitely gonna at least bring up the concept to like.
I think we'll see it in the form of Deku saying it himself. I don't think anyone else will say, yo, you kind of fucked up, but Lemillion's back. So like, you want to give him one for all? You know what I mean? Like, I don't see it.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I see that too.
I really can.
Wow, man, that burning page is still tripping me out, man. What the fuck?
It's lit. It's lit. Like seeing Kohei do that and like surprise you, like, what are you seeing right there? And I can only imagine what, like in the anime, how they'll do it, and you're like, wait, what?
Oh my god! I'm picturing that anime too.
Yeah, it'd be so sick.
Oh, that's so good.
So sick.
Is that everything? Do you guys think we're good?
I think so.
We might be good.
Final word. Yeah. Okay. Well, if we missed
anything, we touched on everything.
Yeah. If we missed anything, comment section will definitely let us know. They love to do that.
Yeah.
So, of course. So hit us up. Let us know. But I think that is good for My Hero Academia this week, you guys. Wow, what a chapter!
It really tied me to like first place of this week because like
I think this might be it for me. Like this might be chapter of the week for me, bro.
I'm leaning to My Hero because I'm sorry that Deku moment's just hitting too hard.
Especially after Dancho's perspective on it really solidifies this chapter.
Yeah,
it really does.
As number one for me this week. I'm
going to give it to My Hero as well.
Yeah, I loved that, Dancho. Great job. And great job, Nick, on the fucking burning page.
Holy shit, Dancho would have brought it up if I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Either way, hey, Nick got it first.
Lovely discussion, you guys, tonight. All right. Getting into the piece de resistance. You know what I'm saying? You know the vibes, man. This big One Piece, chapter 977. Oh, wait.
No, 97.
Nope, gotta go back. This is chapter 997 of One Piece. Flames, which is the perfect title for this fucking chapter, because this shit was straight flames, dog.
Yes. So I have a funny joke theory about this cover page, right? We have for this cover page with Sanji meditating, right?
Yeah.
So why does he have a 4 on his shirt, right? He is the 5th crew member, and he's the 3rd son, right? He's Sanji. So why a 4? Explicit confirmation, 4th strongest crew member, Luffy, Zoro, Jinbei, Sanji, and you can see that his trainer is using Santoryu, which means that Zoro is so much stronger than Sanji. It is as if Zoro would be his master.
Oh my!
Obviously joking, but there's
no. This ain't a joke. Oh no, I'm running with this. This is beautiful for me. This is beautiful for me. You hear this eagle? You watching this eagle?
I'm weak, bro.
Terrible.
I need Eagle to see this.
We're just going to ignore the reader request at the bottom.
Yes. Well, it's a meta. It's a meta.
Yeah.
Oda was using this as an opportunity to slide in the narrative.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Nick. That was fucking beautiful for me.
Yeah, I will say this chapter is definitely a Sanji L. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, like,
yeah. I'm gonna take the heat.
Yeah.
It's a Sanji L. I
Yeah.
love Sanji, but this a L. I'm
I
sorry.
love
Yeah,
Sanji
no,
too.
these first 4 pages, I was just like, God damn it, Sanji
I wanted to
again.
cry.
Yeah. and you want to know what, dude? It's like you want to say like, holy shit, Oda, you're gonna give fucking Sanji such a drastic L and Zoro such a drastic W in the same chapter. Whose side are you on here, or something like that? But at the same time, it's like, man, this is always what Sanji does, man.
Right,
You just
right.
don't want it to happen now because you want, to hype Sanji up in combative ways in comparison to Zoro. But it's like, go to any arc of One Piece and you get this scene or something similar to it with Sanji. Like, this is nothing new here.
And I think that's what my complaint comes from, is that, like, I'm just tired.
Dude, I'm tired
that
too.
was always my one thing with Sanji, was I was like, bro, I need you to, like, get it together.
Yeah.
You know, like, I like the trope, I like the gag, but then at some moments I want the gag to get defeated. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Sure,
like, for example, I feel like Zoro's gag of always getting lost, he gets lost but be where he need to be every time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, Sanji get caught up with these females, and it's just him not doing shit until he done.
Yeah.
So you like, bro, it kind of gets there like, dog, I need you to, like, wake up. You know?
I do like how this specific situation is Sanji taking an L because of chivalry instead of, like, simping. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He's not like, he's not twirling in some, like, Black Maria Twan, you know what I'm saying? Like his, like, nosebleed, you know what I mean? Like, into his capture. Like, that would have been like, fuck you, Sanji. But this is like, I need to save somebody. So, like, this is like the cooler side of his, like, weakness inside of his character. You know what I mean? So, like, I like how they showed it on the chivalry side of things instead of the simping side. But I agree very much with Doncho that I personally, even though it makes all the sense in the world that Sanji is shown in these kind of situations, I personally would love just better Sanji moments outside of this, woven into this conflict. But even though Sanji is shown very cringy in these ways, always getting, tricked by female characters, always, enemy female characters, always simping and, like, feeling like he's useless in combat compared to everybody else. It's like, it's like that kind of stuff, is a part of Sanji's character. We're used to it. And it sucks in the moment, especially week to week. But Oda always gives us such a satisfying Sanji moment eventually that it's like, it's like, okay, fine. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like week to week, this is cringy, but, like, bird's eye point of view, like, no, Sanji kind of did his thing with, like, one funny moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, that's what I'm waiting for inside of his.
And you know what? I feel like this whole Black Maria situation might be the situation that, like, gets him out of that kind of gaggy. Like, I feel like he'll still do it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I feel like him versus Black Maria and her squad, whatever they may be, might be that gets him to stop, losing his shit every time he comes in contact with a woman. Because you see, like, the gradual, like, slowing down of him falling in love with every woman he sees. Like, he still gets the hard eyes, but he doesn't really get the nosebleed as much.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And you can see Sanji after he gets caught in the trap on page 4. He's banging his head against the ground like, this happened to me again. Like Violet just did this to me in Dressrosa. Like, I always fall for this. You know what I mean? Like, he's acknowledging this flaw of his and knows that this is not the kind of person he can be if he's going to be as effective of a member of this crew as he believes he is, as the world believes he is. He's clearly, this is a flaw of his that is keeping him behind the curve. And he's acknowledging that, I feel like, in his frustration in this panel on page 4, where he's like, God damn it, not again. So absolutely, I think that we could see a new Sanji coming out of this, especially because I feel like this is the first time we've ever actually seen him visibly frustrated in his flaws.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would love to see growth on Sanji's character in that regard moving forward.
I'm also hoping that, like, when he's, talking to Black Maria and she's like, oh, do you like me too? And he's like, the truth is, the truth is, I love you. Like, maybe he's just literally tricking her right now, right? Like,
that would be nice.
Instead of simping, maybe he's
untie me.
Maybe he's leaning into that flaw and going like, ooh.
And
so here's Go for it. No, you go for it.
I was just gonna say that like I read the unofficials because I have no self control.
Yeah, me neither.
And like one thing, and it's definitely not Sanji's character to ever say this, but it was just like when she was like, "What do you think of me?" He was like, "What do I think of a broad like you?"
Yeah.
I love like he
Yeah.
would never call a woman a broad for one, but like if that was just like something that kind of got lost in translation through like Viz and Shueisha and like over there in like Japan, like for Shonen Jump, like, and he actually does say something somewhat similar where he actually calls her some kind of like derogatory term.
Yeah.
Then like maybe he really is growing out of this, but he only directs that at like female enemies.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because in the scan, you're right. In the fan translation, he's like, yeah, he does call her a broad. And it's like, when I read that, I was like, okay, this is obviously just the edgier translation, like giving us like a more realistic translation of like pirates in this high stakes kind of situation, what kind of dialogue they would have. Or just like any characters that are adults in high stakes situations like this would probably be swearing a little bit more than Viz allows. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like, or saying like really like mean or derogatory things like that in like, you know, in the moment, you know what I mean? But him not,
I wonder
like,
if he's replying to Black Maria's she's calling him a boy, like boys with you, and he's like mad about it, right? Like, boy, don't insult me. Maybe he is in Japanese like responding a little rudely to her rudeness, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
That could be.
And that could just be Stephen Paul just being like, well, I think we can convey a similar vibe without using any of these words. I don't really see it because I'm coming out of the fan translation, so I know like what the fan translation Sanji like said. You know what I mean? So like maybe that affects like my, obviously I feel like it does affect my like my outlook on the official translations too, because I had something there before, but I don't know exactly like which version I prefer for Sanji here. You know what I mean? Because if he is calling her a broad in some kind of way that shows growth in his character, and that is in the literal translation, then I feel like I want to see that to some degree inside of the official translation.
If that's how it's supposed to be, I would love to see it. Right? You know what I mean? Like based on only the official, you would never pick up on that. Yeah.
Exactly. So like if Sanji fucking kicks a female character for the first time in this arc ever, then like we would need that kind of like breadcrumb there. You know what I mean?
And will lose it.
Yeah, exactly. Like if we don't have him in any kind of like verbal way showing that he kind of like has an issue with this female character in a way that could make sense that we could see him attacking them later through his dialogue, I want that. Because if it's just this scene right here and then like later on in the fucking arc, Sanji is kicking Black Maria, I'm going to be like, what the fuck? You're not supposed to be doing that. But I mean, if there was a line of dialogue earlier that showed him kind of like turning up on a female character in an aggressive way verbally, then like it makes that scene like feel. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm just saying if it does end up that way, I would have preferred that we got something in the translation that supported that.
It makes it so much more realistic and plausible and foreshadowing. You know?
Yeah,
makes
absolutely.
sense.
So now the thing I was going to bring up earlier is that say on page 5 behind Black Maria, you have like it looks like 3 bodies of samurai, kind of just like you don't see their heads, you don't see their feet almost. It looks like you think they're like dead or like strung up in a spider's web or something along those lines. Like what do you think those 3 are back there?
That's a good question.
I thought they were hanging. I'm not gonna hold you. Like,
it looks like they're hanging.
Yeah, like it looks like. I think the third one gets hard for me to tell, but the first 2 for sure seems like they're hanging by their heads and like they're just in the air.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like to me.
And you want to know what? If like that doesn't seem very One Piece to me, but this arc has been showing like new levels of stakes inside of like physical One Piece conflicts. Kiku loses the arm, and then later on in this chapter, later on in this chapter, we see characters reacting to a severed limb falling from the ceiling and landing on the ground. That is so much like darker than like One Piece usually is, in my opinion, that I feel like if characters, just the fact that Kiku loses the arm in general in the way that they do is like so much different than what I'm expecting in One Piece. That characters hanging in the background, like subtly, like just like swinging by their necks in the background, like doesn't seem all that crazy considering like what we've seen in this arc so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially with homegirl about to stab her baby when they was hungry.
Oh yeah.
Like early Wano, when that happened, I said, Wano's getting there.
Like, Wano's different, bro.
Wano's different.
Yeah, Wano's
That's
different,
great.
like inside of like the updated stakes of the New World in general, because obviously
Right.
coming from the first half of the Grand Line to the second, we saw a drastic increase of at least threats, you know what I mean, in all directions, you know what I mean? Not just the main bad guy threat, but like all of their people in relation obviously are a lot stronger, willing to do a lot more evil things on camera, you know what I mean? Like we saw that kind of like subtly in the beginning of the New World situation, but now as it kind of like goes forward, once we get into Wano, we're like, no, this is different for the New World too. You know what I mean? Like this is now we're starting to feel that tension that I thought the New World was going to start with. You know what I mean? But at least we got it, because that's one thing that I've always wished there was more of in One Piece, is just darker tension.
Yeah.
So how y'all feel about the one shot?
Beautiful.
I found it so hype.
When I tell you, bro, I personally, as a Zoro stan,
Man,
have been waiting for
yeah.
this showing of Zoro in this arc. And it being delivered now, even though it's way later than I thought we would get it, is still more than satisfying enough.
my favorite part was the buildup where he sees the arm, he looks around, assesses the situation, and then he just shishi something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. I didn't come here to play your stupid fucking games. Take me to Kaido.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's literally sees the arm. He's like, well, these motherfuckers are tripping. All right, well, look, antibody, right? Bet. Right away. No more, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to go tink, tink, tink and tassel with no one while I'm looking for Appu. Observation hockey, where's that motherfucker at? Right there. Blink. Over with. You know what I'm saying? No more games. And then he checks Queen. He vibe checks Queen right after that.
Like,
Literally,
right
bro.
after. Like, that's
You
so...
one-shotted a supernova. You one-shotted a supernova and then checked the number 3 of Kaido in pages in between each other. Like, come on, bro.
Oh my god. This is why I love Zoro.
He yelled at Queen like he was his dad. Like, he was like, look, what is this stupid game about? I didn't come all the way to this island to waste no time on a bunch of nonsense. You got your little antibody game. Find the antibody. No, I found that shit right away. Here you go, Chopper, deal with that. But Queen, what the fuck, man? Where's your boss at? I'ma kill him. What the fuck? We have not gotten like verbal confirmation yet that Kaido wants to specifically kill Kaido. A lot of people have been talking about like, oh, Zoro wants to kill Orochi. That's going to be his final boss, you know, or whatever the fuck people were saying earlier when Zoro was mad about the Yasui shit. Zoro's just going to be mad whenever anyone is on fuck shit around him. That doesn't mean that that's going to be his dyed-in-the-wool motivations for the rest of the arc. You were doing something weird. You need to get cut. After you get cut, where's the next motherfucker that needs to get cut? Zoro does not just have to be a one dude fight for the whole arc. You know what I'm saying?
Zoro has been completely no nonsense since like post time skip. Like like when he checked Luffy, when he just like he had no problem
when he
squaring up.
one shot Hody Jones underwater.
Underwater.
That is all the evidence that I need to say that I will be totally okay if Zoro kills Kaido in this arc, because we already have foreshadowing of him dealing with the big bad of an arc. Everyone says it doesn't make sense that the number 2 would beat the number 1 threat. Well, we kind of already saw that, buddy. A little bit. I mean, that wasn't a fully realized Hody Jones off of all the drugs, but that was that man.
That was Hody Jones as strong as he could have possibly been before he started like roiding up.
Yes, exactly. Like Oda, I want to say, doesn't give a fuck about how you think Shonen arcs should go. You know what I'm saying? Let him tell the fucking story he wants. If you think it's weird, then like, why are you using Naruto to complain about One Piece? Why are you using Bleach story arc structure to complain about One Piece? You know what I mean? Like,
literally.
Yeah, like, come on, dog. Like, motherfucker is clearly different, you know?
I want to bring up one more thing of why Zoro fans are feasting with this chapter. Page 10, we get a rare Zoro smile.
Yeah.
This is like the second or third time he's ever smiled.
I love that, bro.
Oh yeah, that is a genuine.
What a big grin. He said, "Knew you would." And in the fan scan, he says, "That's our doctor." That hits way harder to me. That hit way harder to me.
That does hit harder for sure.
Yeah.
But
I love Chopper and Zoro's relationship. I ain't gonna lie. Like, that's actually my low key favorite. And like the Straw Hats, like them two just so damn cute. Like,
dude,
like,
Zoro always.
that one chapter cover where Sanji and Zoro, and in Sanji's dream, he's dreaming of beating up Zoro, but in Zoro's dream, he's like getting praised by Chopper. I find that shit so
Oh,
Yeah.
or I have flashbacks to way back in Alabasta,
Mhm.
like Zoro. This might have even been filler, I guess, in the anime, but like Zoro and Chopper like walking from place to place, like it's just those two by themselves, and
Yeah.
Chopper is
Oh, yeah,
like
I remember that.
asking Zoro about like what it's like to be on the crew, and
Yeah.
Zoro just like telling him like some really good advice or whatever, and I'm
Yeah.
like that bond. I totally fuck with that. I totally
Yeah.
I love
I really
Zoro
do love
Chopper.
I love
I
their
do love that
relationship
dynamic.
too. Like even going back into Skypiea, like my favorite like Zoro and Chopper moment is when Chopper's like, the god of Skypiea is gonna come get us, dude. Like, what are we gonna do? This is crazy. And Zoro's like, I don't believe in God.
I don't even believe it.
And Chopper's like,
Yo!
what? And then Zoro's like, by the end of this arc, this god's gonna be praying to me. And Chopper's like, Zoro, you're so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah,
you know what I
right.
mean? It's like Zoro's always like that big brother ass figure to
Yeah.
Chopper.
Yes.
And this moment right here where Chopper's like, yo, I think I figured it out, bro. And he's like, I knew you would. Here's the antidote, bro. Go take care of that, player.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, in the anime, that's gonna hit so fucking hard, I
Yep.
feel like.
And that gives Chopper the confidence to yell at all these people and be like, hey,
Yes.
this is what you got to do to get better. I'm willing to
Yes.
help everyone. Like, it hits. I love them.
This
too,
is
man.
pre-time skip, like Straw Hat Crew interaction, like in a very localized, like condensed
Yep.
couple panels. You know what I'm saying? It's just Oda going like, here's what you love about these characters interacting with each other. Real quick, all
Yeah.
right, back to the action. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's,
yeah.
he's
Right.
just like, I can still fit these moments in despite the
Mhm.
chaos. You know what I mean? And I just love him for that.
Man.
You're right.
And
I
if
agree.
if Zoro does end up killing Kaido with as much flex as he's been doing since since he came back from the time skip,
Yeah.
like, can you imagine how hard he's going to check everybody who didn't pull their weight throughout this arc?
Yeah.
That's the
He's
next. Honestly, Snooty, you're spitting right now because ever since that cabin scene in Water 7, where
Yeah.
Zoro checks Luffy and says, you can't let this motherfucker back on the team unless he gets on his knees and grovels. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that scene in the cabin was where I was like, this is what a first mate is supposed to do. I feel like we haven't
100%.
really gotten too many scenes that drastic since then, but coming out of this conflict on the boat after they beat Kaido going to the next area, I would love a scene where Zoro was like, okay, here's everything you motherfuckers did wrong on this island. Okay, Luffy, boom, 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 boom. Sanji, we'll get to you in a second. You know what I'm saying? Like I could
Yeah,
totally
like-
see it being like,
He's got a whole day for Sanji.
yeah, boy, if you don't get your
I'm
I need to
telling
be
you.
saved every arc because the girl catches me head ass. Like I could totally
trying
see
to
him lighting
tell
him
you.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, like he still hasn't, and people don't think he's going to, but I feel like Zoro's still going to tell him off about Whole Cake. Like you really almost split up the entire crew on your own
Mm-hmm.
to go do some, like, and I know it was for like the best or whatever, but like I feel like Zoro's still gonna
It's
say
gonna have
some shit.
words about
You
it.
you
yeah,
probably
maybe.
took the words out of my mouth, Snooty, because I don't think Sanji really because I think how Zoro would get upset is like, bro, you went through the phase of doubt. You don't never go through the phase of doubt when it comes to Luffy, G.
Like,
Like,
don't
and I
doubt our
think-
captain, leave the
and
crew.
that's what Zoro is gonna hone in on, where he's like, that's what you not getting. You
Hmm.
went through that phase of doubt. Why are you still going through a phase of doubt? That should be dead and gone. You know, like that's Zoro's probably mentality. So I think
Yeah.
if it ever is brought up, I think Zoro is going to say that to him, like, okay, well, I'm gonna let you know right now, B, that ain't happening nowhere else.
Yeah.
So
I want to say that I want to say I agree with you on that, but like let's take a look at the situations, right? Because like we want to say because of Usopp's behavior in Water 7 that he should have the same energy for Sanji, whereas Usopp's energy in Water 7 was from the heart. Like Usopp legitimately felt the way he felt in that moment with Luffy. Sanji, although he made a bad decision, or
He had
arguably across the
ultimatums.
board, everyone know, like we don't have to agree with what Sanji did, but we know that it wasn't coming from the heart. And I feel like
Yeah.
Zoro, I feel like Oda will write it in a way, and has written it in a way, because Zoro and Sanji have encountered each other since then, and
Mhm.
Zoro did not cuss Sanji out. So I think that's Oda saying that Zoro if Zoro heard about the situation. Now we don't know
Which I
for
don't
sure.
think he has.
Yeah, we don't know
Yeah.
for sure if Zoro's heard about it because I just thought about that actually.
Sure.
So
Right.
if Zoro hasn't heard about it, then you wouldn't have a reason to check him. But considering how different the situation is, I can see Oda just not writing that scene in because of how different the intent was between Usopp and Sanji, to
That
where
makes
Zoro
sense.
doesn't need to step in and check him because it's just understood by the reader and everyone involved that Sanji did what he thought he had to do, where Usopp
Right.
did what he wanted to do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
however-
I think what my mentality was,
Yeah.
I always felt like the way the interaction would go wouldn't be a major interaction,
Mhm.
but it would be something where I think Zoro's looking at Sanji with it. So you sure you good now?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I
Like,
would. Oh, dude, I would
you know what I'm
love
saying?
that.
Like, it's just like it. So you sure you are? Like, I know you was in a situation that I done heard about it, but you good for real?
That's so good,
I love that.
Doncho.
I love that.
Yeah,
And-
just a
and
subtle acknowledgement, but not a
Right.
full, like, he doesn't cuss him out, but just like,
Exactly.
hey, I heard about that shit. Like, what's
You
up?
good?
Sanji's like,
Yeah, you
don't
know
worry
what I'm
about me. I'm gonna kill more people. Boom, and then they go back to their, rivalry or whatever. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? Like, I could totally
Exactly.
see that. That'd be sick.
I feel like the interaction between Sanji and Zoro within the next arc and maybe even the next couple arcs is going to depend on heavily how he deals with this Black Maria situation. Because if he drops the ball here,
Yeah.
Zoro's going to lose. Like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you thought you got a nice little power up because you picked up a suit from your daddy? No, get in the gym. We're training right now because you already left the
Right.
crew. We're not gonna have this shit again. We're not gonna
Yeah.
have a weak ass type shit. Like,
Right.
no.
Right.
Yeah, eventually, like, someone is going to comment to Sanji, how many times are you going to let your inability to hurt women endanger the crew and
Yeah.
yourself?
Literally.
Someone has to check him on that, and Zoro would probably be the one to do it. You would
Yeah,
think
right.
that maybe one of the girls would do it, like a Nami or like a Robin, you know what I'm saying?
But
like,
it also plays to their benefit.
yeah,
So they kind of like let
Yeah.
it, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, no, like
But
like
that
you
makes
said,
sense.
Zoro has
Someone's
that
got to
big
talk to
brother
this
aspect.
man. Yeah, someone's got to sit down with Sanji and be like, "Hey, look, bro, you cooked your ass off, man. You can kick your ass off. I'm not saying you ain't pulled your weight, but like,
But
how
you
many
ain't pulling your
times?
weight.
Yeah, like how many times? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we gonna have this happen in an arc? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, come on,
Exactly.
man. Can we just
So
get
how
through
did y'all-
without damsel in distress Sanji one arc? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
how do y'all feel about the Conqueror hockey tease he did?
Love that. I think
I
it was
loved
a
it.
long time coming, man.
Yeah.
So you think it was Conqueror Saki?
I don't.
I don't
I
know.
don't.
I don't know if it was Conqueror's hockey, but I just love how the dialogue is addressing that possibility.
Yes.
like
Right.
like
That's what I'm saying.
confirming
Right.
that possibility, even if it's like Zoro's, or I mean, Oda's obviously eventually going to give it to us. We've known that for a really long time.
Yeah.
There has been so much like wildly subtle foreshadowing leading into this. But like this hard confirmation that we are going to see it very soon, probably by the end of this arc, as hard confirmation that Zoro is going to actually use the King's Hockey is
Mhm.
really exciting for me.
Right.
Same.
Yeah.
That's really got to me. I was
Yeah.
excited it was brought up. Like it's like Oda's acknowledging, like, I know y'all want this. I
Mhm.
know it's a thing. Give
Mhm.
me time. I got you. You know.
Give it a bit. Give it some
This-
time.
This was a
Yeah,
bold ass chapter, man. This was a
Yeah, it really
really
is.
bold chapter. Like Oda did a lot inside of this chapter, man. And it's like I can never
Mhm.
understand how people can complain. And I understand that like the art matters. You know what I mean? And like people complain about how much dialogue Oda fits on in panels, how much information he tries to condense in each chapter. But it's like these
Listen.
payoffs are so huge, dude.
And,
Like these
and as a
payoffs
Hunter
are
Hunter
so
fan,
worth
I'll
it.
never complain.
Oh yeah, never,
Oh, yeah.
never,
Oh, no,
never,
yeah,
never.
yeah.
You want to know what? Oda could come out tomorrow and say, "I can't draw One Piece no more. You're getting this in light novel form for the
And
rest of
guess
the
who's
story."
reading it?
And
no.
guess who's gonna eat that shit up? You know what I'm saying? I'll be
That shit up.
disappointed, obviously. But One
Right.
Piece is the kind of story where I'm so invested in its narrative that I don't care if there's pictures there.
Right.
Sure, I want the pictures there, but it's not like it's not a deal breaker if the pictures are gone in this comic for me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just like
And I
Hunter
know
x Hunter.
Toei were animated anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And Toei's gonna go
That's fair.
stupid. And if Oda quit drawing One Piece, best believe he's picking up that slack in his overseeing of the anime's production. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? He's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
right
Yes.
there for every scene. Like, nope, move this motherfucker 3 more decibel or 3 more pixels up. Move this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna
Mhm.
be in the mix of
Did I
action.
say you
know
could
what
put
I'm
this filler in?
saying? Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like Oda cares so much about this story that if he ever did come out and say I can't draw it anymore, one, we know that that's serious. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's he is not playing when he says that. So like we can't even be mad at him you know, at that point. But also, he's just such a cold-blooded writer that it's like, give me the rest of the story in text form. I'll wait for Toei. I need the ending. Just don't die on me, player. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly,
like, do what you
right.
gotta do. You know what I mean?
So I love after this talk of potential Conqueror's Hockey or whatever, that Zoro's like, we got a late start. I wish I could just fly up there. And then Marco comes, hey, you need any help?
What's up?
I
What's
love
up?
Marco so much.
So
I
great.
love his character.
I just
Now,
love
speaking
first
of,
mate interactions. You know what I mean?
I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go
speaking
ahead,
of
Nacho.
flying, though, so can we go down to my girl's line, Yamato's line,
Yeah.
and the page 15, left corner bottom?
Yeah.
Dragons fly through the air by creating something called flame clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool that he added that, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
really
tight.
interested in what else he's going to do with that. And now that we see that
Yeah.
Onigashima is like afloat.
Yeah, I think
Yo.
this is Oda's pseudoscience at work here again, just like how he creates, you know, pseudoscientific concepts that resemble real world concepts, so that physicists
Like the
don't check
lineage
them.
factor or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
lineage
Right.
factor instead of DNA. You know what I mean? You can't yell at me for not, like, you know, knowing everything about DNA, because this isn't DNA. I mean, it behaves like DNA, but this is my DNA.
Oh,
you can't
sure,
say shit to me.
sure.
I think that this is kind of like that, because like the flame clouds, sure, we've seen Momonosuke create those clouds that he walks on.
Yep.
Yeah, so those would probably be flame clouds, but like, what is the whole, like, why is Onigashima floating? This could be Oda saying, well, heat rises.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I could totally see him like being like, is that good enough? You know what I mean? It is good enough, Oda. I am
Yeah.
totally cool with this.
I'm cool with it too. And I
Yeah.
think I'm trying to remember, did Kaido have clouds around his design when we first seen him turn into a dragon? Did he have those big old I can't remember.
I can't
But
remember either. I want to say they were
I
there.
cannot
though.
remember
I
either.
want to say
Yeah.
they were there though. Yeah.
Me too.
I
But I
wanna
just
say-
find it cool that Onigashima has the clouds wrapped around it while it's floating.
Yeah.
Like, I just found that so awesome how it looks. Like,
Yeah.
he wrapped it around spirally and then
Yes.
he's using that to lift it.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
It could have just been cloud platforms that it was resting on, but
Literally.
no, it's a fucking dude. Oda snaps, bro. I don't know how people get so mad about his art, man. His art is so good.
No, I love his art for sure. Yeah.
He's doing a really good job right here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially
Really good
inside
job,
of his like physical detriments that we know he has because his schedule is so inhuman. You know what I
Right.
mean? Inside of his workload, inside of like, because it's not just this manga. You know what I mean? Like, a mangaka never just does a manga. 99% of them have a light novel in the background. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
or they're heavily overseeing the anime's production. Oda's got like 2 theme parks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That he like
Right.
that he's like a manager of. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is this dude a person? And you're
Right.
drawing still at this level 30 years later is just
Later,
remarkable. Remarkable.
And then even seeing the smoke looking like the cloud is coming from Kaido's mouth.
Yeah.
It literally looks like it's coming from his mouth, and then it's encircling from that center point he's standing, and then it's hitting the rest of the island.
That's right.
And then he's causing it to lift. That's incredible.
That's so
Oh,
gangster, bro.
yeah.
That's so
Yo.
gangster, bro.
Yeah. I just went back to chapter 993,
Mhm.
and he actually does have the clouds around him when he's in dragon form.
Let's go. I
Nice.
knew it.
Wow.
Oda
Yeah.
is a huge continuity buff, man. Like,
Yeah,
you will
oh, yeah.
not find very many situations that contradict other narrative situations or
Yeah.
character situations. Like, you might be upset that Pell survived. You might be upset that characters don't die as often as you want them to, but like concepts all link together. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you will find threads that link to everything that seems weird in One Piece with an amazing explanation on the way, or one that we already got that you just forgot about. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
all connected, and I just love that he has that skeletal structure so ingrained either in his mind or in an amazing reference location that he can grab from whenever he wants. You know what I mean? That's just it's crazy how there's so many moving parts inside of this series, and one person is in control of making sure that those tethers remain vivid enough to the reader. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And I'll be honest too, I love that Kiku's arm is kind of being used as a time placement. If you
Mhm.
notice that,
Yes.
Mhm.
like from the
Yes.
time placement of it flying off her arm and then it hitting the ground, like in between those chapters, we're seeing how much time is passing from these moments. You know,
Mhm.
Yep.
I find that so like I just love those things, those type of like if you're really paying attention, you're
Yes.
realizing what he's doing here.
Oda
Right?
ain't
Like,
playing
what
out
I'm
here,
saying?
man. Oda is not playing with y'all. Y'all
And
think he's
done
trying to rush to
visually.
the end of this shit? No, he knows what he's doing.
Right.
Right.
To piggyback off what you're saying there, Doncho, and it's not just a narration text box saying this is 30 minutes ago or this is 2 minutes ago. No, it's visual storytelling. Here's the arm. You know this has to be after this moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
Right.
I love that.
And that not that much time has passed from
Exactly.
that moment to this moment because you
Yeah.
factor in how long it takes an arm to go from the top of 3 stories to the bottom of it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You can
Yeah.
make
Literally.
physical, you know what I'm saying, mathematical inferences,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, on the movement of time, which is really fucking cool.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like
And
using
damn.
common sense. You
Yeah.
know.
Kaido has just washed everyone. Everyone's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seems that way, right?
Just-
Yeah.
and he's just chilling, and that's the big point that I think Oda was making right there. Was okay. Now you see Oda just making the island float. He tired of y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
It's
Oh.
amazing.
Oh, he's moving
Really?
it to the flower capital because that's where the reinforcements are, right?
Yep,
They're
and he's
taking
gonna-
advantage
he's
of this
gonna land on
location because Onigashima is so far removed from the rest of the military. That's what
Mhm.
they're trying to take advantage of. So now he's moving it back to, a more densely populated area, right?
Right.
That's a big deal.
That
Yeah.
is. Because and then he says he's gonna make it a pirate stronghold. So it's
Yeah.
like he's fully like trying to transform what Wano is as
Yeah.
a country.
Yeah.
I think this change of location in the battlefield and because obviously the element of surprise, the element of uncertainty or just like the unknown ally factor on the side of the protagonist, everything has been so in favor of the protagonist, them moving it from this very controlled, advantageous position
Mhm.
to an area where all of Kaido's men is, I think warrants the idea that other outside factors that we didn't think would show up here will
gonna
show
show
up
up now.
here, right?
Sure.
Because if
Okay.
this whole thing just happened on Onigashima and the rest of Wano was none the wiser, it makes sense that the conflict would end here with the players involved. But if they're going
Mhm.
to pick up the fucking ground and move the entire location to where Kaido is in the most advantageous position possible, they can't come back from that with the numbers that they brought here,
Yeah, they need help.
factoring in on the element of surprise and the location. So it would make sense that potential maybe Straw Hat Fleet pirates show up, maybe the Revolution. We could see
Mhm.
some more Marines, you know what I'm saying? Like things that didn't seem all that likely are seeming like they need to happen now. You know
Don't
what I mean?
forget
Exactly.
the Big Mom pirates are here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Another thing I find might happen with moving the battlefield to the flower capital is that we saw in that festival that the townspeople actually do love Odin and they do
Yes.
are on the side against Kaido.
Yeah.
But it's probably not very known publicly that that's the case, especially for the Scabbards and Momonosuke. So this will give an opportunity for Momonosuke to talk to directly the citizens of the flower capital
Yeah.
and get their approval in real time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yes, please save us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
That's
he
actually really
could
good.
turn regular ass people in the flower capital into allies just based off of
Yeah.
that. Like that could be a rallying point in their morale where they're just like, fuck it, everyone gets a sword. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure, yeah.
Here you go. Grab a sword from the all or nothing box. The shit has hit the fan button has
Oh
been
my
pressed, and everyone has a badge now.
Right.
Yeah.
Here are all deputies.
Yeah, you're all sheriffs now. Yeah.
Right. You're all soldiers. Let's go.
Yeah, I could totally see that. And then we wouldn't need those reinforcements that I was talking about to come in if those regular citizens can be counted on. But I think it would be way more hype if it's location move. Okay, Revolution come in. You know what I mean? Straw Hat
Sure.
Pirate Fleet come in. I think that would be way more hype, obviously. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow. Oh yeah, we got a little. Okay, so we got a little panel here of Law still shimmying underneath everything below the water in his submarine. And I know that not a lot of time has passed, but it's when is Law going to land? And now he kind of has to turn around and go back. So it's
Right.
yeah, it's why
Well, is it Law? Do
isn't
you
that
see
his
Law?
submarine on
Well,
page?
it's his submarine, but Law's on the island.
Oh, he
Oh,
is.
right.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Law's on the
who's
island.
driving this right now?
That's
John
Beppo.
Bart and Beppo? Oh, okay.
I think so.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
We have
so-
John Bart.
yeah, you're right.
Beppo's not shown, but we got John Bart
We got
and
John Bart.
a few of the other.
Okay. All right. Yep. My bad. I'm tweaking. Law is on.
I
the
did
island.
forget that Law was. We did just see him talking.
We did just see him. We did just see him. Okay.
We
great.
did. I forgot to.
It's these man. It's these. Oh wait, we didn't even get a break in between. I have no excuse. All right.
It's just all this gas, man.
Yeah, it's just so much gas everywhere else that I can't remember all the other gas.
Nah, Noxie's just a fake One Piece fan.
Oh, did you guys have anything else you wanted to say about One Piece?
I'm double checking the chapter to
I'm
make
going
sure
back
I
through it
ain't
again,
missing
too.
nothing.
There's one panel that I think potentially has some import or whatever. That on page 14. This is as the island is starting to rumble and lift off the ground. We have the panel of Black Maria going so impatient, and it's possible that she's like talking to Sanji or talking to someone in the room. But I feel like this is like she knows the plan. Like whatever Kaido's
she
doing
knows
here,
Kaido
like she
is
knows
about-
what Kaido's doing right now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I would concur with that because Yamato knew exactly what was going on the moment she felt the shaking and the
That's
lifting.
right. That's right.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
she really was
just-
like, "Oh,
So
he's about to
everyone
move into the
connected to
flower
Kaido knows that this is a trump card of his, or knows that this was a back pocket plan that they always knew he would eventually bust out.
Right.
I'm not so sure. Nickums, you might be right about like she might be talking to Sanji because now you got me thinking about the sound effects. And I looked and like on each of these, there's like the rumble kind of like sound effect. And then like only over Black Maria's does it say like it's
different.
Yeah, you get the
Okay.
zoo instead of the go.
Yeah.
Yo.
I think the looking up though for me is getting me.
Yeah, the looking up is
And here's a different piece of thing to consider, right? So the zoo is definitely a sound associated with like the lifting and everything. Like for example, the top of that page, right?
Okay.
The rumble in that one is zoo. Now, but she's on the third floor. She's on the third floor. She's higher up towards the clouds and shit, the flame clouds, where everyone else, we had the people in underground in the submarine. We have Hyozoro or whatever his name is, like he's on the lower Hyogoro on the bottom level, and Kid on a lower level, presumably than the third level. So it might be just based on height of where they are in the.
That would make sense.
That's crazy if Oda has
that's literally what he's going for,
depth-related sound effects.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I mean,
That'd be wild.
It's like you're
wild.
thinking
The
about
sound-
enough, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on, depth-related sound effects,
Yeah, that's
height-related like sound. Come on, bro. Like that's crazy.
And it's very similar to what Yamato's hearing when she's running outside. The next page. So
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
Wow. That was a cool spot though to bring up those Schnooty, because there is
that's
different
awesome.
kana, for the similar sound effects, which is like, why is it doing that? Yeah.
Right.
And then the same sound for her is happening in front of Kaido at the top as he's lifting it.
Mhm.
Yes. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay.
But at the same time, it makes sense that different areas would have different sound effects for the
Sounds,
same
right.
phenomenon happening.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like, but it's like you
But
don't
it's
expect
not
that
all
level
rumble,
of
rumble?
detail in the
You
sound
don't.
effects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Oda's different, man. Put some
Definitely.
goddamn respect on this motherfucker, bro. Twitter. Anyway,
Well, Twitter disrespects to
I
guys.
know.
Crack is
you're
relevant.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I think we're good though, you guys.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah,
I think that's good.
Do we feel good about this week in Shonen Jump? Do we think that
Oh,
we
I felt
covered
great about that
everything
week in
that
Shonen
we
Jump.
needed to cover, at least for One Piece, since we're here now? I think we're good.
I think we're good.
yeah.
I think we killed this, you guys.
I
Hell
really
yeah.
do think we smashed this.
Hell yeah.
I think we did too.
This is a great finale.
Fuck yeah,
Mhm.
dude. Wow. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Project Manga Podcast and this season of the Project Manga Podcast. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did, please make sure to visit our comment sections and let us know what you thought of our review and analysis this week. Let us know what you agreed with, disagreed with. Let us know what you think about our guests, Snooty and Doncho. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Couldn't think of a better combination of content creators and friends inside of this community to join us in absence of Kiko and Eagle. Wow, man. What a convo. What a season. What a night. What a week. This has
What a
been
year.
amazing. Please make sure you visit the description down below so that you can see the links to Doncho and Snooty's channels. Follow them on Twitter. Take a look at their content. See what they have to offer. If you enjoy what we're doing here, you will more than enjoy what they are offering on their channels. You have two very different kinds of content inside of Snooty and Doncho's channels. So just take a look at them. Those links will be down there in the description. While you're down there, please click on our link tree. That is going to be where you see us on all of our individual social media accounts like Twitter, other online communities associated with Project Manga, like our Discord, ways to consume the Project Manga podcast inside of audio-only platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, and ways to support the Project Manga podcast, including our Patreon, which is going to give you a gang of perks ranging from, you want to know what, I'll go a little bit more in depth on it here at the end of the episode. We got early access to all of our content. We have exclusive videos in the form of book club reviews, an entirely separate weekly Shonen Jump review podcast where we cover everything we don't cover on this show, including Undead Unluck, Kaiju number 8, Phantom Seer, and Jigo Karaku with Dr. Stone on the way. Okay?
Yes.
Please, peep. Let us know what you think about that. But other than that, man, this last year of Weekly Shonen Jump has been crazy. The support that we've seen has been amazing. Our growth has been crazy, and we can't thank you guys enough for your viewership, your patronage, your interaction inside of our online communities, on and off the timeline. Wherever you guys normally fuck with us, we feel that and we appreciate it so much. Seriously. But
absolutely. Well said, Knox.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Wow, though. You guys. It's the end of the season. Okay, so we're not doing anything for like 2 weeks as far as like our regular shows go, right? So we're going to take a break from Weekly Shonen Jump reviews for 2 weeks. We're going to take a break from tie-in episodes for 2 weeks. We're going to take a break from Patreon exclusive content for 2 weeks. But you will still see us inside of events like AnitubeCon. If me or Nick or Eagle or Kiko or anybody want to hop on our Twitch and play some video games or read manga, you'll still see us in situations like that. But our main shows will be on break for the next 2 weeks. And then we will come back with Weekly Shonen Jump issue number like 2 or 3 or whatever it is when their year resets. So, but if you have any questions, holler at us. You know where to find us. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Project Manga Podcast. Wrapping up, I'm your host, Noxie.
And Nickums.
Down below, that's Doncho and Schnooty. Once again, please check out their channels. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks again, by the way, Schnooty and Doncho. Pleasure having you guys on.
Thank you once again, man.
Absolutely. Thank you. But all right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, you guys. Sada Bada.